Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the CCS Plat League. This is week 2 of our split. My name is Thunder. I am joined once again by the wonderful Oshidash, and we are bringing you the game today between Moonstone Gaming and Omega Gaming Obsidian. Oshi, how are you doing on this fine Wednesday evening?
It's a Wednesday. Most people they take a look at the week and they go, Wednesday, we're only halfway there. And I go, Wednesday, CCS, baby.
Let's
And
go.
I'm just
Let's
in it,
go.
absolutely in it all day. I'm sitting at my desk at work going, league. And I'm just ready. I want to be here, so I am here, and this is going to be amazing.
Yep, I'm absolutely hyped. Now, both of these teams coming into this week, they are coming off a high. They 2-0'd their opponents last week, but Moonstone Gaming, they're a little bit more of a known quantity for us here at the CCS. They
Mm.
made finals of our Wednesday lock-in before, that game was okay. But they made it to finals, and Omega Gaming Obsidian, they have a pretty recognizable name for the CCS, if you remember, the good old Squatter coming in the top lane. So I definitely think both these teams have a lot of hype around them as we come
Yeah.
into this. And one thing I want to point out is Moonstone Gaming's drafts are weird. There was a Nami mid lane last week.
Yeah, absolutely wild. You know what? I love it. Right?
Yeah.
You'll hear them talk in the pros all the time about comfort picks at times, and a lot of
Mhm.
the time for pros, comfort picks are also meta champions,
Yep.
which is wonderful for them. But sometimes you have a meta pick or an off meta pick that is a comfort pick that is still meta, but in the wrong spot, right? Yes, we saw a
Right.
Nami mid, but we
Right.
saw the Nami mid to support the Lucian, right?
Yes.
Normally you see that bot
Exactly.
lane, but this case you get both, right? And
Hmm.
not Nami mid's not terrible, right? You've got
Hey,
decent
yeah.
harass, you've got self healing, you've got wave clear, you've got CC, so it is what it is, and I don't know what to expect.
Look, I've been grinding some Nami in my solo queue games, and look, despite I need everyone to know that Oshidash here said that a Soraka bot was better
No,
than
no,
me
no,
at
no, no,
League of Legends.
no, not
Okay,
Soraka, not Soraka,
Nami
Nami,
bot, that's a champion that I
Nami,
actually play. That's a champion I
beginner.
actually play. It's even worse.
I have to
Okay.
stress that it was a beginner level bot.
Oh my god. Okay. Well, anyways, that's besides the point. I've been playing it, all right, in my solo queue games in support, and I've been out DPSing my junglers and my ADCs on that champ as a support. So if I'm worse than a bot, then they're worse than me. So I mean, that just goes to show you the state of solo queue. But that being said, there's definitely some exciting things coming in. OG Obsidian, though, I think they definitely play more standard drafts. So
Hmm.
we could definitely see some surprises out of Moonstone. It'll be a good test for OG Obsidian to show really, where are they kind of in our power rankings coming into this, and
Yeah.
are they ranked properly?
The big thing that I want to see is, do we see Jace contention or a Jace ban? Right.
Hmm.
I think game one we're going to see contention. Right. Both top laners play Jace. We know
Hmm.
that they both play a ton of Jace.
Yes.
But are they going to let one another play? Okay, you get it first game, we'll get a second game, or are they just going to say, we don't want any of it. We think Jace is the only reason that you're here, so we're going to take it from you.
Yeah.
So, getting into the bans though.
I think we got 10 seconds for Moonstone to get the bands ready, to get the bands going, and they're
Mm,
going to be honest. They're waiting on. Hold on. I'm on three,
um,
2, 1, and they banned the Diana.
okay.
Okay, you know what? I was getting a little bit nervous there. Things were getting a little tense, but we made it through. So Diana gets taken away from Delilah, one of their most played champs in solo queue,
Yep.
of course. Obsidian. It looks like they are starting to ban out some of those more meta supports that our mid laner at Moonstone plays. Ovo.
Yeah.
We had a pronunciation guide on that name before, and I think it's Owo. I think
Is
it's Owo or Uwu. Look, I'm gonna go
I'm
find out.
gonna
I'm
end
gonna
up
go find
saying
out.
ovo.
Yeah, me
But
too.
honestly, it's XXOVOCC. So you could even say Shovak, and depending on where you're from in the world, right?
Yeah.
It would still be accurate. Either way, we've seen the Seraphine, like you said, the one support come out that we've seen the mid lane play. It's also a support ban. It's kind of nice to take it away from both
Mhm.
of them. Kane's gone, Zillion's gone. So again, more support casters that do well in both lanes.
Yes.
Really looks like they want to narrow that pool down and just kind of not let them have too much fun in the way that they like to have fun.
Yeah.
We have it in chat that it is ovo.
Got it. We'll pronounce it right for the
Yeah,
rest of this game. I give you the patented Thunder guarantee. We just ignore the X's and the C's. But
yeah, I
oh,
won't
that's
call you
actually
Shovak. It's as cool as that is.
oh man. Yeah, you know what? That is a dope name. But we're coming as again. it looked like Moonstone. Honestly, I was expecting a third jungle lane, but they actually take away the
Mhm.
Yuumi. So Yuumi and Seraphine, two supporters that have definitely been terrorizing the meta over the last patch. They're getting targeted a little bit with the nerfs coming up in the next one, but they're still very powerful right now, and we see them put on the ban list. Sivir taken away as well, and Moonstone actually pick up the Senna. Could potentially be going support, or we could definitely still see that in the hands of All Gucci, who is subbing in for the wonderful Noatok and ADC for Moonstone.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I wanted to point out. What I wanted to talk about is
Mhm.
the bot lane. We said their from Moonstone's side, their support is an AD carry main who's playing support. So I expect to see something along the lines of fasting Senna.
Yeah.
Especially now that they have a sub coming in, it's really nice if you can get that fasting Senna down there, so that you have the carry on a player you're familiar with. And in this meta, you have to be used to it,
Yep.
right? You absolutely have to have Kench Senna in your game plan 100%.
Yeah.
What's interesting is looking at the other side. Karma Ash.
That
Who
is.
who has the weird drafts again?
Hey, look, that karma could be going anywhere. Okay, that is okay. Yeah, see, that's a Maokai with the Senna.
Is
I'm
it?
just saying, we're getting funny. Yes, I'm gonna full on guarantee this. I do not think we are gonna see that for Maokai. Maybe we
That's
get it for Ovo, but no. See, there's. Oh wait, hold on. That's a Swain pickup. Moonstone Gaming has
what
some
are you doing?
flexibility right now.
That's Swain mid. That's
Is
Swain mid.
it?
It's
Is
gotta
it?
be. It's gotta
Is
be,
it?
right?
What if it's fasting Senna with Swain ADC? We've seen that
What if it's
before.
fasting Swain?
Okay, I'm not even gonna. All right, look. Normally, I'm the one talking about the stupid, wild, crazy things. I don't think we're gonna see fasting Swain, but I
No.
mean, hey, maybe we see Swain support, but I don't think that's very good. And
Look,
that's
a
the
normal pick.
Viego pickup. That is a very normal pick. We're back to reality. Viego is here. That is 100% going in the hands of Delilah, who is very
Yeah.
experienced on the champion. So I fully expect to see some good plays out of that. Now we're
Hey,
seeing Obsidian. It looks like they want to target the top lane. That's a Kale ban.
yeah. I don't. They've got to be assuming that the Swain is going top lane with that Kale ban. That's the only thing that I can really see coming out there. I mean, it's not a champion that anybody on Moonstone has a super history playing per se. Also, an incredible support character though, can definitely be played mid and does well supporting an AD carry. Um, On the flip side, we see the Silas, and is this going to be a very fast ban from Obsidian again? It is. The Ari going down, taking away all of the mages that they can. It's a whole lot of CC that's been banned out from Obsidian's side as well.
Yeah, and it looks like
Um,
they haven't, and it looks like they are fairly confident that the mid lane pick for Moonstone has not been
mhm.
locked in as of yet. So, I'm interested to see again, like Moonstone, it definitely looks like they can flex some of this stuff around. And Moonstone, they have now taken away the Fiora from Sauter, and one thing
Okay.
to note, Jace is still up.
Yep.
I don't know how well it fits into these drafts though.
I think if Obsidian picks Jace up right now, it fits perfect.
Okay,
Look at that poke comp. Karma, Ash, you throw a Jason there, especially, and then you pick up a Lux mid, for example.
that would be
Incredible,
sweet.
incredible harass comp. Senna has heal though, kind of counters that. Swain heals himself, kind of
Mhm.
counters that. Heals himself. It gives some opportunity. Gangplank picked up though, and I like that just as much.
Yeah, and it's a little bit of a takeaway. Mommy's guy again has a plenty on the GP as well, plenty of experience. So this will be going into the hands of Sauter. So look for those cross map plays. We do have double globals here for Obsidian, but
True.
that Ash arrow definitely takes a little bit of aim and prediction, but that could definitely come into play. Definitely a little bit of an insurance policy if that GP just gets stuck in the side lane. So Moonstone, they are taking their time on these picks. We can see the discussions coming through, and that is a Twitch. I have completely lost sense of this draft. Is this
Jungle
Maokai
Twitch.
top?
Jungle Twitch.
Jungle Twitch. Walk me through a jungle Twitch.
No. um,
Absolutely no
you
talking through it. You're just
so
making the call. You're not doing your color. You're not doing color cast anymore. I'm the color caster now. All right. I have no
so
clue how
jungle
good.
jungle Twitch is something that has been played in the past. I have not seen it for several patches. I think what we're looking at is Maokai jungle, Swain top.
Okay.
It could be Senna Lux bot lane. It's probably Senna Twitch bot lane, fasting
Right.
Senna Twitch AD carry with a Lux. I think the Lux is a takeaway pick in this situation. It's a good comfort pick because again, it's kind of that supporty control mage. But I don't know. Right now, I'm loving Obsidian's comp. Like, it's a strong
Ooh,
poke comp. Yes,
and there's the
great,
Galio.
great engage, great disengage, great counterplay.
Hmm.
On Obsidian's side, 3 globals, kind of with Galio. It's
Right.
mostly a global. 1.5 on Moonstones, because again, it's kind of a global with Lux, right? So it's
Right.
kind of a 2.5 to 1.5 global situation. Uh right now my chips are on Obsidian because if they keep even or get even just a little ahead, that is a disgusting amount of poke to try and
Right.
get away from, and then Viego comes in and just resets on resets.
Right. Yeah. That's, and I will say, Lux, Twitch, Senna, they are pretty squishy champions. So if that VO can get on the back line, I mean, that's just like, yeah, if you get a Lux and then you jump into a Twitch and then you jump into a Senna, like that's just like
Hmm.
like they just kill each other so easily. It's like
Yeah.
it's gonna be very interesting. But I'm still, we have those predictions on where things are gonna go. But these lock-ins, I'm very interested for these lock-ins because
Yes.
it's all going to come down to what exactly Moonstone want. But I mean, this is a type of weird, funky draft where it's like, maybe Omega know exactly what's going to happen here, but the only thing that I am fairly certain of is that Lux is going mid in the hands of Ovo. Otherwise, I think it's going to be a little bit weirder. But exactly as you said, I love Obsidian's draft.
Well,
It's not super standard, but it definitely feels something that has a very cohesive identity.
so we see Ovo play support in mid, right?
Yes.
That's something we've talked about. You agree? You're the one who wrote the document. Um, Senna's a support.
Senna is a support, but hold on. Is Gao Xiao just
Is it?
taunting us? Okay, they are. They're watching the stream.
I
I
was like,
guarantee it.
did I biggest brain it in the no?
No, okay, they're
No.
watching the stream. They're taunting us, Oshi. They're
Yeah.
taunting us. See, they're taunting us. They know. You called it exactly though.
Yeah, it's the Maokai was going in the jungle one way or the other. You don't put
Mm,
Swain anywhere but top lane. He's just so strong up there. I have faith in Sauter giving us an incredible brawl up there for sure, though.
yeah.
Um, I don't know. It is what it is. We're pretty sold on what the lanes are going to be now. We know that we're going to have the Twitch Senna bot lane.
Mhm.
But who's playing which?
Yeah, I'm very interested to see. I mean, I have a feeling it's probably going to be Alnan with that Senna in their
Yeah.
hands. But what I'm honestly, Oshi, what I'm really looking forward to are these late game team fights because Lux ultimate with Senna ultimate layered immediately over top of
Mhm.
it. You have the roots coming out from Maokai if you can land them. Those long distance just absolutely delete somebody with a Maokai gank. That I
Yeah.
think that's going to be something that Omega really have to watch out for.
Yep. Honestly, on the flip side of the whole thing, though, if Omega can manage to say we're all going top lane and there's no successful split push, if Moonstone can't set up a player that can handle the gangplank solo in the off lane,
Right.
they lose. Full stop,
Yeah.
because they will get poked out of a lane. Your hard engage is either landing a Lux binding or Maokai walking straight up into them.
That is
Because quite
true.
frankly, you look at this poke comp, Twitch isn't really going to get to do a Twitch. Like, you don't get a Twitch engage against an Ashe.
Right.
That's it.
Those
An
arrows.
Ashe, you show up, you get ulted, you're bursted by the time you
Yeah.
think you have a chance. And if one person walks up alone, there's a gangplank ult keeping the rest of your team away.
Hmm. It's definitely going to be interesting. There's just, I am looking at it now. You pointed out, it just seems like there is so much good CC for the side of Omega Gaming. I mean, and not necessarily CC, but like, pseudo CC with Gangplank's ultimate coming over,
Mhm.
providing a slow. You have the Heartbreaker coming from Viego. You have Galio ultimate over the top. And then, of course, like if that Ashe arrow lands, you have immediately 2 ultimates that are just going to be landing directly on top of somebody.
Yeah. Yeah, and not just that. If that Ashe arrow lands anywhere, someone probably dies.
Yeah.
In the late game situation, that Ashe arrow lands, and you're getting an Ashe W, a Karma Q.
Mhm.
You're getting probably all of Viego, all of him, a lot more than you want, and then a Galio if he cares to show up.
You can't
Like,
handle this much Viego.
think about it. If all they have to do, like, they can 3-1-1, or one
Yeah.
3-1, or like any setup that they want to, where you have Ashe Karma Viego sitting in one lane,
Mhm.
Galio Gangplank in other lanes.
Yeah, I'm interested to see. I really hope Omega can coordinate it. Whenever we see those 1-3-1s play out to perfection, it's always cool seeing if they can draw the opposing team across the map in an effective way when it really looks like Moonstone Gaming just want to get in a ball and run at you. But they will be doing that here in just a few minutes as we get into game number 1. But make sure you check out our sponsor for this split, ProComps. It's an all-in-one drafting tool for competitive and solo queue play. ProComps uses user live feedback and analysis on drafting, giving them recommendations on picks, notes on matchups, what to ban, and analysis on the enemy team's win conditions. So these features allow the user to gain the competitive edge on their opponents and improve their drafting skills. If you use the code CCS, you'll be getting 50% off your first 3 months at checkout. So make sure you go check them out and check out this game in just a couple minutes. Hello, everybody, and welcome back. We are getting into the action here at the CCS as teams push out onto the Rift. I'm very excited to see if we get any spicy level 1s, and it does look like Omega are making a brief push down to the bottom side river here. Maybe they're hoping to catch somebody out overextending, but for the time being, looks like Moonstone are being responsible, sticking together, but here's the invade. Hey, you know what? I like this play. You know, they're getting some early wards down, getting some early vision, but that's going to be it, and they're going to go ahead and start their backs.
Yeah, grouping up nice and early like that is really important when you're playing against a Twitch, in my opinion, especially when they have a Lux, because the range of the Q, it's very easy to just kind of step the Twitch up a little bit, get some extra vision with a little less risk, and oh look, there happens to be one person standing around, get a Lux Q out and jump on them.
Right.
But I'd say the biggest thing here, they want vision on that Maokai. Maokai is not the strongest jungler, especially compared to Viego. Like Maokai, good jungler. Don't get me wrong. He'll hold his own initially. Slow enough clear speed. You'd see that he started with that sapling toss there. He's going to rely on his passive to keep his health up. But otherwise, this Viego's really going to look to capitalize. And if he can keep his eyes on exactly where he is, I would expect some early aggression.
Yeah. We'll definitely keep an eye out for that. The early aggression, those early ganks are really going to come in big. We're starting to see some of that poke coming through from the Lux, though, this is Elementalist Lux. Which one do we think we're getting today?
You know what? It's really going to depend on what we just saw right there, that charged up Karma Q. Because it's going to be a cold day for them if they keep standing together.
Indeed. But we're going to have to check that. I mean, right now, I got my little scoreboard bug here. Got it refreshed, and we're getting the CS charging up, but very slow so far. Nothing crazy. Nobody's trying to aggressively push yet as of level 1. And the main thing that I'm thinking about right now, junglers are starting on the top side of the map and heading down to the bottom. Sauter's already poked down to half HP, as is this bottom lane down here. It seems like Karma Ash is a pretty dominant lane coming into this Twitch Lux, at least early.
It is vicious harass. We said it in draft. We talked about it as soon as we saw the characters, and then kept talking about it the whole time. They have the tools to just force you out of a lane. We're seeing it early game. We're going to see it late game for sure. The biggest thing, they can't get hit by them. Difficult when it's the empowered Q, not as difficult when it's the normal Q. But we're seeing the exact opposite in that top lane right there. I mean, Sauter's at half health already as well.
Yeah, it definitely looks like we have we might split sides of the map here. Sauter, who was at half and is now hovering around 10%, is really going to have to use those oranges to heal up, get the citrus going. But Cool Crab with these Qs is absolutely unrelenting. And Sauter gets rooted again, gets pulled again, has to orange it out. And Mommy's guy is absolutely dominant here. Doesn't even have a single tick of health below that full HP bar. So you are feeling very, very... Wait, hold on. This is a sentiment.
Were you not listening?
I'm gonna be honest. I know, like, we were looking at it. I was listening. I
told you.
But I was so, for some reason, my brain was so dead set on this being a Senna Lux bot lane. I have no clue. All right, I'm completely, look. I got a little surprised. It's like a dog that bites his own tail. Okay, you see. All right, I did it to myself. But Cool Crab wants to get some damage here. This is going to be a root onto Alanin, but it is instantly cleansed, and they managed to get out of there. But they are at very low HP, and they're going to be forced to back. Maybe they're going to stick around.
Something we haven't talked about that we just saw, and I'm going to draw attention to. Look at the summoners. Look at the summoners coming from Moonstone. 3 cleanses, and that is why right there.
Volvo manages to cleanse and flash out. Delilah is underneath the turret, does get rooted. We'll have to see if the trade comes through. Cool Crab actually has to flash away. Might be the first one to fall in this bottom lane. Alanin goes in, but all Gucci is getting poked down, falls as well. Meanwhile, the Maokai takes down the GP up on the top side of the map with the gank on Sauter, and Civil and Alanin, they are duking it out, but it doesn't matter. That's a double kill for the Ashe. All summoner spells expended in the bot lane, save for the Twitch's flash.
Not just in the bot lane.
Everywhere. There's summoners. Everyone lost their summoners.
You get a flash. We saw 4 cleanses popped in 2 fights.
In the span of about 15 seconds, too. And Sauter even commits the TP early. And Mommy's guy already, actually does not have a CS advantage, which I am honestly surprised about, but did get the assist racked up.
Honestly, Sauter did an incredible job keeping up the farm with the Q and with the passive autos and everything right there the whole time. He's one of the better characters to be pushed under tower when you're playing as, because he has that last hit with the Q ability.
Right.
Just that the empowered damage makes it much easier than, I don't know, say, Swain.
Yeah, his lane opponent, a pretty good comparison. And now it looks like we have a little bit of a turn, but Mommy's guy is just pushing past the wave and is just chasing down Sauter with absolutely no fear. I think level 6 is going to be pretty big, but Ovo has no summoner spells and is definitely going to take a lot of damage here. Manages to get a little bit of healing, but Delilah and Demo, they are playing strong in this mid lane. Gaoxiao cannot make anything happen, gets rooted underneath the turret. Delilah takes a turret shot and has to get out of there, but that is a kill onto the mid laner, a second one. This Senna is having a tough time.
That is level differential right there. That is a level 6 Galio, a level 5 Viego coming in at the time. It was the level 4 Ovo, just hit 5, and a level 4 Maokai. Like, Gaoshu, I respect the pick, but you're not keeping up in levels, and that's devastating.
Yeah, Maokai is, there's a reason that Viego is meta and that Maokai is not necessarily, but I will say, if you're Moonstone, you are still feeling pretty good about this top lane. Currently, Mommy's guy does have the level advantage. That's somewhere that Moonstone are leading in experience, but I don't know how long that's going to last. Currently up 14 CS, but this is a massive wave that is stacking up for Sauter. Civil just clearing out a ward here. Junglers are hovering around the bottom side of the map for the time being. Top laners, they are continuing to trade, but it looks like we're about to get a team fight down here on the bottom side. That is a luxury that comes through, but they're not there to really take advantage of it, and all Gucci and Allen get hit with major damage, and Delilah is just sitting here waiting patiently as the engage comes through from Maokai, and Delilah goes on a killing spree, absolutely deleting the Twitch. And there, hold on, that is a big ultimate coming out from Ovo. The GP ultimate is not quite there, doesn't quite get the slow, but it does force the flash out of Gaoxiao. Allen is the only one that makes it out alive, but Demo is here, and they maybe want to go for this turret dive. I think they're going to be able to make it out just fine, though. Never mind, I spoke a little bit too soon. Allen, this is 3 underneath the turret, but there is a wave. The Lux falls as well. Delilah 5-0-0 before the 8-minute mark. The Herald hasn't even spawned yet.
That is a scary Viego for this team. You have a lot to deal with just in the poke, no matter what you're dealing with from Moonstone's side right now. Having to worry about a Viego just deciding to show up and one-shot your backline on their own is even worse. Let alone the fact if, let's say, the Swain does get up and the Swain ends up dying before the backline shows up. Now you have a Viego that's fed and is suddenly a Swain.
Yeah, that's a lot of damage. And also, you mentioned before, Delilah on this Viego, and this is a lot of Viego. This might be a little bit too much Viego to handle this early on. Already has the Divine Sunderer, right? Just backed. I'm pretty sure that was just after 8 minutes. If we had a stat tracker for fastest mythic in the game, I'm pretty sure Delilah just topped the leaderboards for the rest of the CCS split.
Up in CS, up 4 kills, having, 5 out of 7 kill participation right now. I mean, Delilah's putting on a clinic on how to be where you should be and when.
Yeah.
That's not even league related. That's just life skills.
And it is translating perfectly to video games. Or is the video game skill translated in real life? We'll never know, Maybe video games can teach you something, but if you're Moonstone, you have to figure out something here to just start snowballing, to start clawing this back in your favor. It's currently a 2,000 gold lead. Pretty much all of that is sitting on Delilah right now. It is, it's about 1,600 in their pockets over the opposing Maokai. And if we thought this bot lane was having a tough time before, it's only going to be rougher now, especially, they have this level advantage. They're starting to accrue a very minor CS advantage, but really it's those kills, I think, on King Civil that are going to make the difference.
Yeah, and I mean, I mentioned it in the draft. All they had to do was hold even to make this a scary game for Moonstone, and they are so far ahead. Oh no.
This lane does have the ultimate. It does get popped. It's a lot of damage, but it just doesn't matter. The Viego has more, and the Divine Sunderer putting in work. 6 kills for Delilah before 10 minutes. This Viego just doesn't stop.
We saw 9-minute 30-second tower dive on a Swain who was full health with ult, and they walked away with 90% HP each. Yeah. This is an absolute runaway at this point in time. This is what we need to see. Like, Maokai, Gaoxiao, You have to do something. I know it's hard because all of your lanes are behind, but it has to be you. That's the problem right now. It has to be you. You're behind too, and the only way to bring it all back is to be that person making the play.
Yeah.
And I don't know how.
I mean, I'm expecting, trying to get a good gank, but they have no good vision. There are so many red wards around this bottom side of the map. Gaoxiao, they know exactly where they are, passed over a ward heading down to these Krugs. So, the bot lane for the side of Omega Gaming Obsidian, they can just play safe here, and they should be absolutely fine. But it's like I'm honestly, I'm starting to feel like maybe Gaoxiao, they had what looked to be somewhat successful dive in the bottom lane, but then Delilah just turned around and got 3 kills. So I don't know if maybe Gaoxiao might be scared coming into going into any more ganks, because if Delilah is there, it's just instantly going to get turned.
Exactly. I think this situation almost stemmed from not enough pressure top lane. Like Mommy's guy was doing such an incredible job keeping Sauter low,
Right.
but they weren't able to capitalize on it. Look at the CS. Sure, there's a 12 CS difference. That's going to go away real fast as these barrels get up, especially once he picks up that Triforce.
Gaoxiao gets stunned with the Heartbreaker. Delilah does commit the flash, but that is a very, very dead Maokai. Demo, is the one that gets the kill this time. Delilah starting to spread the love around a little bit. Figured 6 kills was enough for the time being, but Heartbreaker's over the wall, and Ovo underneath the turret hits the Dawning Shadow, managed to get out of there, and the turret shots hit Delilah. That's a shutdown. That's a ton of gold going into Ovo's pockets, and Demo has to start running away here. This Senna can definitely heal and sustain up. I mean, and maybe Delilah, their head got a little bit too big there.
We're sitting here trying to figure out how Moonstone brings it back, and it turns out it's just going to get handed to them instead.
It certainly does. King Civil even walking into the tower, just taking a free shot.
Yeah, you know what? It happens, right? Everybody's been that, I'm 5-0, I'm going to dive mid lane. And it's like, is that really okay? And they tried it, and that's what happens. That was, I think a 700 gold shutdown. That is a massive infusion into a Senna that already did a ton of damage.
Yeah. Chunked him out by about 20-25% there, both on Demo and Delilah. And, I think Delilah was trying to mimic that tower dive up in the top lane, but Galio does not do as much damage as a GP. But Demo, as I say that, Demo wants to go in there. Demo still gets the kill with the help from the GP ultimate. I 100% just gave that caster curse over. Oh, no.
Oh,
Delilah.
hey there, Delilah.
But Alanin makes it happen, managed to dodge the Ash Arrow. Alanin with some great Lux mechanics, the root into the flash to survive. That's how you stop this snowball.
Oh, my hands went on my head when that Ash Arrow went by. It was so close, but so far. If Delilah had held out just a little longer before engaging, I think that Ash Arrow would have connected.
Yeah.
That's how it goes. They got a dragon out of it, forced a flash out of it. I mean, for what? A couple ult cooldowns and a Heartbreaker. Oh, well, so what?
Yeah.
The thing I want to draw attention to, this top lane, we kept talking about it. We kept saying, oh, look at Mommy's guy go, over pushing, all that. Now that Gangplank has his ultimate, he's just picking up assists everywhere. That's it. He's infusing himself with gold by just throwing it down because. We saw it in mid lane. Ovo was already dead. He dropped it just because.
Indeed he did, and he does. It's not up for this team fight right now, but another good route from Alanin delays a little bit of the engage coming out from the cool crab, but the much larger crab will get a second charge. Shelly making some stuff happen, and Frost, the gauntlet stuns one up. We do see the Lux ultimate that actually misses, even though there was a root. Gaoxiao throws down the Maokai ultimate, and it's going to be running through. We see the root come down. Now the damage is coming in. An exhaust onto all Gucci is going to delay them just a little bit, but Delilah is here, still has full health and ultimate up. Wants to back away for the time being. King Civil has fallen. Delilah goes back in, dashes back in. Still can't get a kill yet. Dawning Shadow over the top. Delilah once again with the overheat tries to keep going back in, and it is not worth it. We briefly flash back up to the top lane. Looks like the bottom lane just went for the disengage. Sauter taking a lot of damage from the turret shots, does throw down a barrel, but we're seeing the ultimate come out of Mommy's guy. Sauter has to flash away, but Mommy's guy is on the chase down, wants to get this kill here, is absolutely bloodthirsty, and the ultimate burn, it is still ticking, it is still staying up. Sauter finally falls as well in Moonstone Gaming. They may be down 3K, 2,500 gold, but they are not done fighting yet.
Absolute chaos everywhere, and we've got another one coming in. Just too cocky.
Demo might get a kill here. It actually does. Alanin and Gaoxiao, They're going to try to make something happen here, but Demo just gets the kill and is
Right.
okay.
Okay, what do I know? Right? Oh, he's 2 cut, gets a 1v3 kill, and they leave. Okay.
I think
Okay,
they were
Demo.
scared. I think they were a little scared of the GP ultimate coming through that cannon barrage, but now Mommy's guy Delilah is coming in. This is a Swain without an ultimate, so should be able to chop him down to size, and there's no flash, there's nothing here. Delilah is just going to pick up the kill, and whew, this Mommy's guy sticking around a little too long.
No flash, no mana, no chance. That was what it was. Super unfortunate there. See, another one. Oh, my goodness.
Ovo
Absolutely relentless.
Ovo manages to dive down into the shadows, though, and survive. But this is now going to be 2 turrets for the side of Omega Gaming. Obsidian, they are, you know, they've stumbled a little bit on some of these kills, but they are still racking up the objectives.
Yeah, I mean, there isn't really anything you can say at this point. Herald's coming up in 5 seconds. That should be a quick, easy pickup. You know, Dragon's coming up 2 minutes after that. I'm betting that's a quick pickup as well. Sure, they've had some problems, but look at this. Look
Demo
at this
is
damage.
Running all Gucci. It doesn't even matter. The Ash Arrow finally connects. Demo is on a rampage. They are just... This is no longer Moonstone's jungle. They do not belong here. Their only safe space is their base.
Yeah, this is what I was afraid of for their draft is you now have a Gangplank that can fight most of your team. You have a Maokai that can fight all of your team, a Viego that can fight all of your team. This is what they need, though.
That's a Lux ultimate. It does hit one. We're seeing some massive roots come through from both teams. Sauter is getting very, very low, as is Demo, but Delilah has remained untouched throughout this team fight. Goes in with the Heartbreaker. That is the Swain. We were talking about it. This was the strongest member of Moonstone Gaming. It is now in the hands of Omega. And Moonstone, they have to disengage after losing their top laner.
Yeah, that was an incredible engage, a phenomenal counter engage by Demo with all of the CC that you could possibly ask for to keep them busy until Delilah was able to swing down. And that's unfortunately what ends up happening there. Not everybody has a way out, and somebody had to die. It was Swain this time around. I expect it to be Swain a lot more often in these team fights because he's going to stand in the front. He's going to take all the damage, and all that we're going to see from Obsidian is slowly and menacingly walking away.
Yeah. And we saw them in that, you know, in the start of that replay there, we saw them slowly and menacingly walking forward, and the Maokai ult did absolutely nothing other than give a little bit of time for Omega Obsidian to regroup. Like, that was literally it. Moonstone just was not able to chase him down, and exactly as you said, we're starting to see the Dragon fight, you know, setup come through right now. The Ash Arrow goes wide, so that is a team fight engage tool that they won't quite have. That is a burned ultimate from Alanin without any CC to back it up, and once again, they won't have that for the team fight either, but it's a fairly low cooldown. Both teams, they are playing footsie right now. Neither one really wants to go in. It looks like Moonstone, they have their death ball that maybe Omega don't want to jump in on.
I actually love Omega's setup right here because they have poke on all sides. They've got their engage nice and kind of surrounding here. If they can get if the crystal arrow wasn't down, this would be so much better.
Yeah, Mommy's guy wants to go in, though. There's the Maokai ult. That is root into root into root. Mommy's guy is in a 2v1 against King Civil and Cool Crab, but it is not going their way. It's now a 3v1. Sauter comes up there. That is Mommy's guy down. Demo and Delilah were managing the rest of the team fight on the bottom side, and this Dragon, it is reset a couple of times now, but Omega, they are the ones that finally pick it up. That puts them onto Soul Point. Lux ult and Senna ult used, and they do absolutely nothing. Gaoshao gets knocked back in, but hold on, that's a kill onto the Ash. Demo is very, very weak. It looks like Moonstone, their death ball was still managed to be effective enough to take out 3. They lose the Dragon, but they do actually win the team fight.
Yeah, you know what? They have a lot of damage, but no real defenses here. They had to just kind of stand there and watch Twitch spray and pray as they, you know what? Like they like you said, the Lux ult goes, the Dawn goes, and then an engage happens. But look at Twitch. Look, free fire. Just standing there safely. You know, you can't walk away from something that shoots as far as Twitch when he's got that spray and pray up. So there was nothing that they could do. Before that, the fight was incredible. The Swain engaged. They got the Gangplank ultimate down to just kind of separate the team. They had a good time with it. And once again, we saw them get a little too greedy and say, yeah, let's keep going. But they were all too low.
Yeah, and now, you know, they're so for Moonstone, it's feeling like they're getting some things back here. You know, they're getting an extra kill here. You know, Delilah's overheating a little bit, but it seems like they have chilled out just a little bit. So, you know, maybe we won't see too much more of that. But even with kind of what seems to be some of these advantages are supposed to be accruing back, they have not taken a single tower yet. Objective bounties are up. They do not have a single objective on the game. The only objectives that they've gotten have been the bounties on Delilah.
Yeah, and that's basically it. I don't know. This is an incredibly difficult game for them to come back from. We keep saying oh no, there goes the Crystal Arrow.
The cleanse is used. Alan, very wise, very conscious of it, doesn't allow them to get the engage. And Rift Herald Shelly once again summoned in the mid lane. This is going to be another turret here and another final spark used. We're actually going to see Rift Herald hasn't gotten the charge off yet. Actually looks like it might not. It will indeed go down. There is a massive Maokai engage. That is a double root, but the GP ultimate over the top slows down Moonstone Gaming, and Delilah goes on a killing spree. Even more roots coming down once again. Delilah is making it happen, is chopping people down to size. Twitch is down. That's the main damage, but Ovo is here. This Senna does have the Kraken Slayer, does have the Ginsus. Cool Crab and Demo are on the run. Their main damage dealer is gone, but meanwhile, this entire time, Sauter is in the bottom side of the map, chunking away at these turrets.
Again, exactly what we talked about they want to do. They could 4-1 with the split push, or 1-3-1 with the split push. Either way, if Moonstone cannot handle a clean ace on that 5v4 fight, they don't win the fight. Ultimately, that's it. They picked up a couple kills to get some gold back. Good for them. They lost a tower, and they lost even more map pressure. They got no serious objectives out of it.
Yeah, and these cannon barrages over the top to essentially dissuade Moonstone away from the engage after what was honestly a really good Maokai ult that seemed from Gao Xiao finally. Getting effective, getting in there on a good flank, and it was just Sauter just put the cannon barrage, right behind it, and nobody could really follow up. And it seemed like, this 4-1 comp is so effective against this death ball, this meatball comp, where Moonstone just want to run it down the mid lane and essentially just A-ram it.
Yeah, exactly. You saw it right there in the replay. That Gangplank ult was perfectly placed. Just saying, no, there's kind of a wall. You're either going to stand in it and take some damage and move slowly, or just stay on the other side of it. And Moonstone can never seem to make up their mind. Half the time, half the team pushes through it, and the other team stays away from it. They need cohesiveness in this team, and that's the couple of times that we've seen a lot of kills come through from them. That's what we see. We see a good layering of the ultimates. We see some great team fight. The Twitch gets to free fire. Keeping the Senna alive especially is important. Look at it. You mentioned the Kraken Slayer. Look at the items now.
Oh, the arrow. No. Hold on, the Dawning Shadow does keep Mommy's guy alive very briefly. The ult gets popped, but that Swain got popped as well. Delilah now taking over for the leader of Noxus. And Delilah is trying to just, is just pushing forward. Is going to take some chickens, gets hit with the light binding, but just doesn't care. And those Ash Arrow picks, they're starting to come in clutch. It does look like the Cannon Barrage was used once again there just to secure that kill.
Yeah, I believe it was used just slightly on the upper side, just to kind of confirm the slow and keep everybody else away, because we did see Moonstone in their upper blue side jungle there. I love the fact that they finally targeted someone that doesn't have cleanse. That is the first time we have seen a Crystal Arrow go at someone that does not have cleanse.
And they picked just died. Yeah. Indeed. Oh, Mommy's guy gets engaged on once again. Literally just got back here. Just TP'd back with the Unleashed teleport. Once again, the Maokai ultimate. These roots are big. The final spark does the damage that it needs to. Demo goes in, gets the taunt, denies the follow-up engage. But that's Galio down as well. It's King Civil, Cool Crab, and Sauter left to fight against 4. Twitch is still alive. Does not have the spray and pray up, though. Final spark's about to come in again, but a massive Gangplank barrel takes Gucci and Allen down to half HP. Final spark is slowly ticking back up. There we go. We see another engage, a light binding. Gao Xiao tries to follow up on it, but it looks like we're just going to see a little bit of a disengage. These Senna heals are coming in clutch. Dragon is up. A final spark hits once again, and it looks like maybe, just maybe, Moonstone are going to be able to deny Soul here. Sauter eats the oranges, manages to get out of there very briefly. It's a 2v2. Gangplank goes down, but so does the Twitch. Gao Xiao is alone right now in a 2v1. Ovo and Allen, and they are on the chase down. They are coming back. Senna with a double kill. The Ash goes down. It's Cool Crab, but Demo has TP'd back. The light binding again. Ovo and Allen, they're getting chunked out massively. This is a ton of damage. This team fight just keeps going on and on and on, but it looks like Moonstone, they're going to be the ones that have to back up. The final spark is used, and the two members of Moonstone are not responding for quite some time. This is going to be Soul finally going over to Omega.
It does not matter who from Omega dies here. Oh goodness, I thought Swain still. I was gonna say if they get Soul, that's all that matters. Setting themselves in an incredible position. I have to say, it was unfortunate for Moonstone that Solder got caught by that light binding.
Yeah.
It's hilarious to say it, but it's true because it took not the light binding, the Senna snare. It took two members away from the dragon fight, which ultimately resulted in Gaoshu dying.
Yep.
Which resulted in them not having a smite and being unable to take the dragon. You picked up a kill, but you had the wrong priority, and that is something that you have to pay attention to in this. Yes, you got a snare on someone. You don't have to run it down just because you did. I gotta say though, Gaoshu, tank E at this point in the game, surviving for an incredibly long time. His ultimates are precise. He's doing exactly what he needs to do and playing the Maokai. Remember, there goes the arrow.
Oh no, and once again, it's on to somebody who does not have, it's at least not up the cleanse, but Maokai ultimate actually does not do anything. Delilah just flashes over it. Demo is getting chunked out massively once again, managed to keep three busy, but Delilah is on the back line now. That is the Senna down. The healing is gone. Nobody from Omega has fallen, and it looks like Moonstone, they're going to have to disengage. That should be Baron for OG Obsidian.
That certainly was being called by the pings, if those are anything to go off of. Once again, the big thing to pay attention to, no gangplank. Look at this read. They just see it from downtown. A big snipe. Senna did what they could. No cleanse available. Twitch, even with the stopwatch, you can't get away from this Viego. He ults over there, and again, he ults over the wall to get back onto the Senna. Playing out of his mind. In real time, though, Solder in a situation.
Looks like the Gangplank will be going down. Did just get the Baron buff. That is a massive shield, though, coming through. Doesn't have the ultimate yet, but he survives for so long. Mommy's Guy and Gaoshao, they do eventually take him down, but that is the Demonic Ascension burn for Mommy's Guy.
The biggest thing to take from that, like you said, he took forever to die. He did not go down quickly, and as a result, his team was able to get back on the map, which means, yeah, you picked up the kill on Gangplank. He's 1 in 5. Okay. You got nothing out of it. No objectives can be taken as a result of that.
Yeah, and right now, looking at the items, it's not like the item advantage is not actually crazy. You kind of have to look at the different roles and pay attention to it. But as I'm talking about, this Cool Crab gets rooted down. Maokai Ultimate comes through once again, but Final Spark is not there to follow up. That said, Alanin does still manage to take down the opposing support. Demo goes in, gets a massive taunt, but once again, there is no follow-up. All Gucci has slain the Galio. It is now a 2v5 on the map. Solder has just now respawned, does have the Unleash TP if they want to come in, but that Baron push is stopped extremely effectively.
Yeah, that is now two members that still have Baron buff versus 5. That's incredible. The fact that they took it off of Solder in the first place, who's the split pusher, phenomenal. That was massive. Altogether, incredible fight. That is exactly what they need. And quite frankly, it all came from that Lux snare. Wow. It all came from that Lux snare. And let me say, this is not your average Season 5 support Lux. Look at those items. This is a full damage. I guess I have a couple wards Lux. This is making up for the fact that their major damage sources were AD. You know, we see the Twitch and the Senna. However, now it's not just the Swain to worry about in magic damage, which means itemization changes or could have changed completely. Unfortunately, Obsidian, if you look, they don't care about defense.
They're not investing in it at all. I think, you know, maybe they should start investing in it sometime soon, but they don't really care. Delilah gets a stun on the Mommy's Guy, and that is just a Swain absolutely deleted. The Dawning Shadow coming in far, far too late, but the Nature's Grasp rolls through the enemy team once more. Delilah goes on a killing spree. That is a dead Twitch, but Delilah is now dead themselves. Gaoshao managing to keep the rest of the team at bay. That is still 2 that have fallen for Moonstone Gaming, and Gaoshao has to run back to the fountain.
2 for 1 in a 4v5. Again, right? Yeah, sure. Okay, the Gangplank tool. Yes, we know. We see it. It's great. He's still not there, right? Yeah. And now he just comes over and joins. Those barrels are going to half health the remaining members of Moonstone here. They take inhib and they walk away. How are you going to chase them? You're going to walk through Ash W's and Karma Q's as you try and catch up to them? It's not going to happen. They have the perfect disengage comp. They have played this so well so far. Yeah, they're losing fights because they're not a heavy death ball team fight comp. As long as they keep playing the way that they are, they should be fine.
Exactly. And, you know, Delilah did die, but I'm fairly certain just picked up that Spirit Visage, so is rocking a full 4 items. Gao Xiao still only on 2 plus a Bramble Vest. And, you know, these item advantages, I definitely think they're starting to come in. Ovo does have 3 items over Demo on that Galio, but Galio playing more supportive, I'm not too surprised. But if you're, I mean, Ovo, I'm definitely looking at, you know, we've seen this Twitch pump out a ton of damage, is you know, it has that Zeal item working towards item number 3. But, I mean, right now, unless Ovo can really start making something happen here with these heals, with these Dawning Shadows, I think it's going to be very, very hard. And looks like already, you know, Delilah, King Civil, Cool Crab, they were ready and waiting. This is going to be the Elder Dragon fight. I think whoever wins this is probably just going to win the game, but it's going to be a little bit harder if you're Moonstone.
Oh, the Whiffed Enchanted Arrow. That's a huge cooldown to not have going into, like you said, what is probably going to be one of the most deciding team fights coming up right here. They have to poke this out and try and delay it and not get caught by all of that Lux damage.
And they managed to dodge it the first time through, and here comes the engage, the GP ult. Once again, the Cannon Barrage over the top. Nobody has died yet, but Sauter is getting low. Demo is getting low, and all of a sudden, Demo over the top after going down to 5% HP gets 2 with the heroic entrance. Sauter managed to take down the Twitch. It is only Ovo and Aladdin left. They are on the run. Aladdin follows. Ovo is next. It is clean. It is 5-4-1. They don't even need the Elder. They have minions running to the base. They are TPing forward. Sauter is already there. That is going to be game number 1 going over to Omega Gaming Obsidian.
I'm pretty sure we only saw Sauter on screen when he's pushing lanes. I don't think we ever, like, he wasn't in that fight. We called it the turning point of the game fight. Whoever takes it wins the game, and Sauter's like, I'll be at the Nexus, thanks.
Just runs in, throws the GP ultimate over the top. Sauter knows exactly what he was needed for in that game and made it happen so many times.
I am so proud of him for the way that he played, because that was just incredible. I don't even want to say that he was weak side, right? Because if you take a look at who he was playing against, that's not really weak side Gangplank Swain. Like, yeah, sure, you'll have a bit of difficulty farming early on, which he did. I'll give him that for sure. Yep. But like, the biggest problem that he ran into was Swain first bought a Rylai's.
Yeah.
And then
those slows are big. Those slows are big.
But like, his life wasn't too difficult after that. He was in the side lane. He did his own thing. What did he hit? 6.2 CS a minute.
That's pretty solid. Even, you know, after getting, God, especially after that early game that, you know, Delilah had, that was, you know, you go 5-0 in the first 7 minutes of the game, then I think it's hard. It's almost difficult to lose the game. I will say it seemed like Omega Gaming Obsidian at a couple points were trying, but they still ended up like just getting that far ahead that fast on the Viego. It's just so hard to come back from that if you're Moonstone.
The two things I want to point out: one, when I first joined voice chat, when everybody was in here, I was singing "Hey There, Delilah" before I even knew who was playing on what team. So the fact that this played out the way that it did is killing me. But more than that, damage taken from champions, 41,500 for Delilah. That is the most in the game by over 4. That is the most in the game by 4,000 damage, which is Swain as the next one. Consider the amount of healing he would have to do to die 3 times less than the Swain did.
And still came out on top. Well, that was only game number 1. So Moonstone Gaming, once again, you know, they're no slouchers, but if Omega Gaming Obsidian can keep this up, I think, you know, their reputation here in CCS Wednesday will certainly continue to grow, putting them to up. But that's only game number 1. We still have, at very least, one more to bring you. So we will go on our very brief break as we get that set up. Don't go anywhere. Hello, everybody, and we are back, just about to get into the draft for game number 2 between Omega Gaming, Obsidian, and Moonstone Gaming. The first game went,
Uh,
I think we can say, handily in Omega's favor.
it was, as they say, a win from draft. It's
Draft
yeah,
diff.
big draft difference. We talked about the fact that Moonstone does quirky drafts, and that's
Hmm.
great. That's good for them if that's how they want to do it. Wonderful. They got meted.
Yeah.
Quite frankly, the major difference was in the jungle. That's where we saw all of it.
Hmm.
Everything else, their lanes held their own, even though the picks were a little weird. In the Lux support with a Twitch, that's not really a combo you see, but
Right.
it was countered by a poke comp or a poke bot lane.
Hmm.
We saw Galio versus Senna mid, which is actually incredible for the Senna, right? Magic
Yeah.
resist doesn't mean anything, cool, but ultimately, like we said, the difference was in that Maokai pick. Don't get me wrong, Moonstone played incredibly well around it. He did incredibly well on it,
Hmm.
but Viego was a pop star.
Yeah. Delilah, Delilah popped off, and one day we're gonna get a KDA Viego skin. We already have a Pentakill Viego skin.
Oh my
I'm
god.
feeling it. All right, I'm feeling KDA Viego. All right, we got Star Guardian Echo. Give me KDA Viego.
That would
All
just
right,
be Ezreal.
you
It
know
would
what?
just be Ezreal.
That's true. That's true. That's true. But
It'd be
we are
Ezreal
once
with a
again,
crown. Shirelia's
we are,
Ezreal.
we are once again getting into the draft, the ban phase, and it looks like Moonstone, they are going with, so far, they're sticking to their guns. They banned the Diana, they banned the Kane, but this
There it is.
time they're showing the respect to Delilah, they banned the Viego. Omega, they take the same bans, they pick up the Karma.
Yeah.
So far, it seems like they're sticking to their guns too.
Yeah, I love Karma as a first pick.
Hmm.
Namely because kind of a flex, like you're okay to play it mid if you want to. I'm
Right.
sure Moonstone would do something insane like that. Sure. Once upon a time, Karma was a top laner. That was a scary time. I'm glad that's over.
Yeah.
I still have nightmares trying to play. Anyways, you try and play Galio into it. Didn't matter what you tried to play into it, you lost. But either way, love the band so far. Senna, yes, great pick. That Senna did so much damage,
Yeah.
like the whole time. No finish items to tons of damage. Swain, again, love it. Did incredible. Played his lane perfectly. Out harassed. If he can keep up the same harass, but with a little more farm, I would love to see that.
Yeah. Maybe a little more, maybe a little bit more help too. And right now, maybe it's a little bit early to call it this, but it feels like we're getting a little bit of the salty run back. Moonstone Gaming said, okay, the only reason that you win that last game is because Delilah had the Viego. So we're taking it away. And Omega Gaming Obsidian, they now pick up the Lucian. I'm going to be honest. If we get a Nami mid out of Omega Gaming Obsidian instead of out of Moonstone, that would be like the most
That would be the
BM
rudest
taunt
thing.
pick ever. But, it worked
I,
for Moonstone.
did you just say if they picked the koi, it would be a pond pick? Really? You really
No,
you
no,
went fish
no.
jokes?
I didn't. I did. What? What? Wait, no. What? Wait, hold on. Now I'm confused. What did I even say? I don't.
It doesn't matter. We see the Gangplank getting picked up. They said, you know what? It worked fine. He held his own against the Swain. I love it. Kale. That is
Ooh,
massive.
indeed, indeed, and it was banned
It
in the
was.
last game. Who banned it? Indeed, Obsidian did ban it, and so
Yeah.
Moonstone this time they pick it up right away. Omega, maybe showing their hand a little bit too early. I guess they have something else just up their sleeve that they want to hold on to, but that is gonna be Mommy's guy with the Kale. Kind of late game scaling insurance just to
No.
make sure.
Swain.
Okay, look, I'm sticking to my. Okay, all right. Look, Moonstone got slapped by Meta in the last game. Senna Swain is
Kale
an
support.
actual. Okay, look. All right. Look, I thought I was supposed to be the unreasonable
They
one, Oshi.
banned
I
Maokai.
thought we. Why did they wait? Hold on. Honestly, if I'm Omega, I just let them pick it again because like it didn't really do much.
It you know what? It started to though, and that's the thing,
That's
right? He
true.
was very far behind and was still kind of doing some stuff.
Right.
So, I also
So
I was trying not to point this out, but in the last game, Swain did buy a Moonstone
I know I saw the Moonstone renewing,
on
and
Moonstone.
yeah,
I
I'm
I think he'd
interested if
given
that's a
up.
yeah, I'm interested if that's a good. I don't think that's your S tier Swain build that you want to be, picking
Interesting
hardcore
bans.
into a GP, but that is a Darius and a Malachi band. So you know what, Oshi, it seems like they have the same read as, well, actually not quite the same read as you. I guess Omega don't actually think that the top laner has been picked yet for Moonstone.
I love the Zac pickup. I was really hoping to see this as soon as I saw that he plays Zac in the jungle. Yes, I think we're seeing Kale support. I think we're seeing Senna mid. I think we're seeing Swain top. And we've got Zac in the jungle. That is my guess. And that's
Okay.
it. That's what I'm sticking to. My
I'm so confused.
concern, my ultimate concern here is that Omega's going to be leaving Zeri open,
They
and
will be.
that could be a huge tie turner if Moonstone plays it well.
It is still quite strong. Once again, it's been nerfed or buffed, I think like 11 times over the last 9 patches since she's been introduced, and she is still extremely strong. So that is something to keep an eye out for. But Omega, they have picked up the Lilia, one of my current favorite champions in the meta, despite receiving some minor nerfs a patch or two back. But 100% that's going in the jungle, and that is a Sylas mid that was banned out in the last match. And Omega, they take the chance to pick that one up. It looks like they've got some pretty good ultimates to steal with it.
Yeah, this is, I mean, Swain ultimate, great. Kale ultimate, great. Zac ultimate, great. All of them so far. All 4 of these, it doesn't matter what Sylas takes, crazy useful in a team fight.
And of course, I'm gonna be honest. I'm already liking Omega's comp way more than Moonstone's again. It just feels like it has a pretty clear plan of action. And okay, look, this is they were taunting us in the last game. I feel like does this count as like, is there some type of competitive integrity thing? Like, are we advising them on what to pick? Like that is the Zeri.
Are they
pickup.
watching
You
the
called it
stream?
exactly. Are they watching the stream, getting those numbers up? You know
See,
what? As long as the numbers
thing.
go up, Flay wouldn't be mad.
The scary thing is that they think I know what I'm talking about.
You would expect it. But you called the Kale. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know. The only thing that I'm confident on in Moonstone's draft is that the Zac is going jungle, and even then, I'm not actually that confident about it.
So honestly, I think we're looking at Swain top, Zac jungle, Kale mid, Senna Zeri bot lane. Senna Zeri is disgusting. Okay. It's so good. Yeah. That is an incredible lane. Zeri's so mobile and has so much harass. Senna has harass and lockdown and heals. It lets Zeri be the front line AD carry that she's made to be.
Right.
And if she gets going, like Moonstone's comp will absolutely steamroll Omega here. Unquestionably. Right. Like, Sylas is great. Sylas is going to be a problem. Zeri can get away from Sylas. Lilia's good. Lilia could be a problem with the AoE CC. If they get a good flank, Zeri can run away from that. Right? Yeah. Like, the hyper carry that we're looking to see from Moonstone can just run away. That's their whole mid game. Moonstone's AD carry walks away. There's so much CC, and then Kale comes online in the late game and just 2 shots the entire team while invincible.
Yeah, but I will say one brief note is that the Kale is indeed going to be top. I'm interested to see what this bot lane is. I'm interested. I'm just so interested. What we see in this mid lane, that is the Senna mid. It is the Senna mid. This is Swain support. I mean, hey, he does have that little grab. He can get that grasp, pull people back. So, but I'm very interested. I kind of wonder if Moonstone, they saw how good this Senna mid was, and they wanted to run it back a little bit, but
I can't blame them. Like, Ovo did incredible in that mid lane in the situation he was in. Here's the thing: you're facing a Sylas now.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he did well. He still died a couple of times.
But
look who he was against. He was against a Galio,
one of the chillest laners possible.
Yeah, and he got tower dove 3 different times. Mm-hmm. And now you're fighting a Sylas who is going to have the exact same engage style, but significantly lower risk because he doesn't dive unless he chooses to. Mm-hmm. Way more damage output. And hey, guess what? He's going to take your ultimate and kill you with it.
Yeah. Or even take your ultimate and then help out with a gank in another lane.
Which, how many times did we see that with the Gangplank? And now we get to see it with the Gangplank and the Dawning at the same time from the same team without even having Senna.
Wait, hold on. Look at these lock-ins. Look what just happened. Look at the swap. They have until, I believe, 20 seconds to confirm everything, but that is now Ovo on the Swain.
That's a lot more what I expected.
Yeah.
That
makes so much more sense.
Yeah, I mean, Kale top, sure. I honestly think they should give it. It should be Swain top. Mommy's guy did incredible. That would be the right play, in my opinion.
But it looks like they are sticking with it. So it will be that swaying into Silas. We'll have to see if Ovo
Okay.
can really make the
Okay.
same thing happen. But I'm gonna be honest. I'm looking at the jungle. I think once again for Delilah and Gao Shao now to make an impact because I think it's gonna take Delilah. It's not gonna be as easy to tower dive on a Lilia.
No, I don't. The way that Delilah played last game,
Hmm.
I don't like the Lilia pick because Lilia's
Yeah.
not a hyper carry champion, and they played so well against Delilah being fed.
Hmm.
Um, Lilia's not an early game gank.
No, not at
She
all.
just isn't. She has no hard CC, which means if you look at everything here, there is one piece of hard CC until level 6, and
Yep.
then there's 2.
Yeah.
This is the exact opposite of what we saw from last game for Omega.
Yeah, so we'll have to see. It's a different draft. It does still feel like a fairly strong, not no, not anything too wild as compared to Moonstone picking some definitely interesting things and some interesting matchups. But we're
Boy.
gonna have to see who can take this game number 2. If Moonstone Game are gonna keep themselves alive, or if Omega are going to take this one home. We'll be back in just a couple of minutes, but once again, please check out our sponsor, Pro Comps. You can check them out. They are a phenomenal tool used for drafting, get the competitive edge against your opponents, both in tourneys and official matches and in your solo queue. They collate all the data, they bring it together to give you the best information on picks, bans, and upcoming matchups that you might be facing. Use code CCS at checkout for 50% off your next 3 months. We will see you in just a little bit for game number 2. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Rift for game number 2 between Omega Gaming, Obsidian, and Moonstone Gaming. We've got some interesting drafts here. We got some exciting stuff. Moonstone, we're playing a little bit of chess, I think, with their picks, deciding towards the end of the lock-in period where people were going. And it looks like we don't have any early vision, any early level ones, just 5-point spread from both teams. And one thing that I really want to know, one thing I want to look at. Oh, hold on. Gao Xiao, just be careful here. And just takes a chunk from Solder, and that's it. A little bit of vision gained, nothing else. And it's not first strike GP, so no big bonus there.
Yeah, it was what it was. I need to reload my scoreboard. I was like, GP doesn't have any items, but that's just me. That's my problem. I had to deal with that. There goes that vision. That's an early sweeper. That's actually a lovely pickup on junglers that something you don't see often enough, in my opinion. You just kind of see people pick their item, leave base, and they don't think about grabbing a sweeper early as a jungler. Love to see it. That vision is gone. They already know where Zach is, though. They know he's starting red. They just now don't know how fast he's going to be.
Yeah. It's something to keep an eye out. And both junglers are starting on the top side of the map. It looks like they're both getting leashes as well. So that's something interesting. And, you know, topside leashes, I don't think the most common thing in the world, but that should definitely speed up the process here as both teams are going to be treading down towards the bottom side of the map. Speaking of the bottom side of the map, King Civil and the Cool Crab looked like they were waiting to see if Gucci and Alanin would push a little bit too far up to get it engaged. Those Lucian level 1s can certainly be scary, but for the time being, nothing crazy burn. There is an exhaust on the Zeri here, so I think if that Lucian tries to all in, it could go very poorly if they aren't ready for it.
I actually love that pickup. I think it's incredible because the Lucian, as you can see, has a cleanse to kind of try and counteract the snares. And, you know, some of the other CC that is going to come out later on. But honestly, that's a nearly wasted summoner in the overall here. There's only one really heavy dive character coming out from Moonstone here. Yeah, exactly. And so you're going to, what, cleanse a knockup? Not really. So it's only for snares. Huge.
The all-in goes in. Cool Crab and King Civil, they want to make it happen. Cool Crab even burns the flash, forces the heal out of Alanin, and Alanin goes quite low. King Civil wants to go in, but there's the exhaust that we were talking about. The Senna Snare comes in. Gucci is trying to get the first kill. They want first blood, but King Civil is getting burned down as well. It's a 1-for-1, but the first blood goes over to Alanin. The supports, the first ones on the board.
Yeah, both supports picking those kills up, and that is actually a massive, massive win for Omega. For Moonstone there. Because getting a kill on a Senna versus getting a kill on a Karma, world of difference right there. Tell me which one you'd rather have fed, and yeah, it's pretty straightforward.
Pretty easy, pretty simple, pretty effective. And of course, all Gucci is the only one with a summoner spell still up. That flash is very much alive to get out of any too scary situations. And it looks like King Civil is the first one back to lane, and I mean, I have a feeling teams are about to get pretty aggressive here. Gao Xiao is coming in. Alanin gets the root onto Cool Crab again. King Civil is pushing up very, very aggressively, but here comes Gao Xiao. Zach is here. Cool Crab is trying to make something happen on the backside, and Lucian takes down the Senna and is not able to get another kill yet, but Gucci takes down the Lucian. Delilah is here. The Zach passive gets popped. Delilah pops the Swirl Seed onto Gucci. That is going to be the passive burning, and the dust takes down the Zeri. Cool Crab and Delilah, they clean it up down on the bottom side of the map, and they're going to start grabbing up these turret plates.
I made a huge mistake in draft, apparently, talking about the lack of CC on this Omega team, because Cool Crab said, hi? And just, like, that is twice in a row that he's just walked up, landed W, and said, you die now. And he just keeps doing it. He's going to keep doing it, is my guess. We're going to see so much aggression coming out up this blue side bot lane over and over and over and over and over and over.
Yeah, and it worked out that time. You know, the first time they traded 1-for-1, but that time it worked out even with their jungler not coming in until late. I think if Delilah had not shown up on time, it could have gone very, very poorly, but overall, they're able to turn the situation around. And again, this is very early. A fed jungler. Gao Xiao wants to try to make something happen, but Solder flashes away. Gao Xiao does manage to keep him slowed down for just a little bit, but they get nothing for it. And once again, Gao Xiao just has to back away. They don't get anything on the dive.
Yeah, I mean, I love the way Gao Xiao is playing this game compared to how he was last game. Obviously, with the Maokai, you have to farm so much more before you're super useful. Zach, 2 forms of CC, 2 forms of hard CC at that very, very early on. Love to see it. Honestly, this bot lane, I was pretty concerned that this Zeri Senna was just going to run over this Lucian, but I mean,
Right.
holding their own is an understatement at this point. King
Yeah.
Civil and Cool Crab are doing work down here. Look at how forward they're playing. Yeah, they're under tower. That means they're controlling the wave impeccably. Look at the push.
King Civil wants to go in a little bit aggressively here, as does Delilah on the top side of the map, but Gaoxiao runs in between the towers where the very otherwise frail deer cannot quite follow. So Alan picks up the soul and everyone starts to disengage. There's only about a 200 gold lead so far for the side of Omega, but they do have 2 kills. It's just, for the time being, Ovo in the mid lane has a actually surprisingly large CS lead over this Silas.
Yeah, from what I've seen watching the mini-map, Demo's trying to harass, and it's not going too well because it's a Swain. You're just going to heal back up, and that's kind of how it goes sometimes. Meanwhile, Ovo's just been spamming abilities to push lane, like to push wave, kill minions, whatever. Gaoshu in the perfect place at the perfect time.
Swirl Sleed splits the uprights, though. Demo wants to go in, throws down some King Slayers, and we are seeing ultimates popped on both sides. Gaoxiao running out of there. Demo has used the Swain ultimate, but doesn't get any kills for it. Does at least force the flash out of Ovo, and everybody backs off. Delilah committing the flash there to try to get at least a little bit of damage or a slow off.
One flash and an ultimate for one flash is what ended up being burned there. Ovo still has his ult up, didn't use it, I'm assuming, because he had 0 mana basically that entire time. Incredible attempt for Omega. They got the flash, but they wasted one too, and it's, I feel like if Gaoshu had kept up in levels, was level 6 already, or kept up with mid lane in level, sorry, that fight would have gone awful.
Yeah, we are seeing exhaust get thrown down on both sides here, but Gaoxiao is the jungler that is here first, the first one to arrive and save his bottom lane. All Gucci picks up one, Alanin picks up another, and Delilah was busy clearing the Krugs.
And that is the strength of the Zac, because, his passive used the abilities to chunks him out, you heal up, he's super tanky. He was able to come down to the bot lane that little bit quicker with that little bit extra HP after a lost fight in mid lane. Making a difference and looking for the dragon.
Yep, and they are going to be the first one to pick up that objective unless Delilah has something to say about it. This is a level 6 Lilia, but gets rooted up, is taking a ton of damage. Again, this character is very, very squishy still. Does get a massive W off onto Alanin, but there's a honey fruit right there. Alanin will be able to heal up rather quickly, and the dragon has fallen. We'll have to see if teams want to fight over this. It looks like Omega, they want to go for it. They want to get some blood. Ovo has to run away, but the Swain goes down. Again, these cannon barrages over the top are allowing Sauter to participate in a fight that he's a mile away from. Demo now. Oh, Demo saw them go for that barrage. It's currently a 3v1. Will Silas be able to take care of it? No, it doesn't look like it. Demo has to flash away and get on out of there, but did manage to do a considerable chunk of damage and is forcing the backouts now. Delilah clearing away the blue buff.
I can't help but notice that every single one of these fights that Omega is winning, it's by a hair. And every time I see that hair, I see a level down on Moonstone's side. If that was a level 6 Senna, that's a dead Silas.
Yeah,
right?
That is very true. And everyone else probably survives easily.
Easily, not even close. Everybody survived anyways. And now look at this. Look at this.
No.
Why?
Demo.
What is he?
What are you doing? Why are you still here?
Ovo, what are you doing? I was just going to say.
Okay, gets the kill, but that was a little interesting from both mid laners. Oh, hold on. King Civil wants to go in here, is now underneath the turret, hasn't taken any shots yet, is playing very well at this range, and the Karma Q with the shutdown. Gucci falls.
I gotta say, King Civil not living up to his name at all. He is ruthless in this match. Just hit 6 as well. I expect that culling to be up for a matter of minutes. Singular minutes is my expectation. Once those two get back to lane with that Zeri coming down, a level down at this point, I fully expect to see a Karma key, or a Karma W into the culling, and that's going to be the end of it.
Yeah, this Lucian is going to be putting out a good chunk of damage. Currently about even on the items. Has just, both ADCs are coming back, but we are seeing another engage come out of Gaoxiao now. Sauter does have the flash once again. Gaoxiao doesn't quite get the distance needed, and Sauter can literally just sidestep it.
Yep. No, not even oranges, just K.
Yep. All right, you're out of there. Farewell, Zach. You tried, and it actually looks like Omega, they are bringing the rest of the team up to the top side of the map. They want to go for this Rift Herald, and Gaoxiao and Mommy's Guide, they're both up here for the time being, but it looks like they're just going to let it happen.
Yeah, Moonstone knows it's happening. They've pinged it. They want people to put some pressure on. That bot lane has got to push hard right now. You've got Zeri down there that's easy enough on her own, let alone with her support. I mean, Ovo, this is where we need to see Ovo harass, right? He needs to put some pressure on this Sylas because I think in a straight-up 2v2 top lane versus jungle, I think Moonstone is fine.
Yeah, the Gangplank plus the Lilia, it's, it can do a lot, but I mean, that Kayle is getting scarier and scarier. Level 9 right now, only a couple more to get to that level 11, and that's really where, you said it. Right now, Omega, they haven't gotten a massive lead, right? They haven't absolutely dominated like they have previously. The gold is pretty much dead even, and this Kayle is going to get scarier and scarier, as is this Senna, as is this Zeri. So, Lucian, kind of an early game champion, once he gets that level 6, can do some damage, but I don't think it's going to be able to out damage a Zeri and a Kayle.
Yeah, I think ultimately what we're going to see is the Lucian struggling to burn through a Swain and a Zac. That's what the fights are going to end up being. Looking at his items right now, I mean, there's no possible way to guess what he's going for, but I think he might actually be going for the Kraken Slayer, which I would respect.
Okay, that would certainly be interesting. It would be a lot of damage. King Civil wants to go in, but gets hit with the exhaust, and now it's all Gucci's turn. Pops his Zeri ultimate, the lightning crash comes through, and King Civil is taking a ton of damage. ADCs trade ultimates, summoner spells traded on the bottom side as well, but nobody dies yet. Delilah is down here, trying to help clear the wave. Top laners are duking it out a little bit, but Zac is down there on the bottom side of the map. If you check out that minimap, Gaoxiao, if they push too far forward, Omega, the Zac is channeling that ultimate, is trying to come over the wall here. He's thinking real hard about it.
Yep.
And thinks that it's maybe not the right play, and everybody backs off.
I gotta say, the quick fingers on all Gucci to live up to the name right there. Getting away from the Lilia ball as it came rolling down lane. Super quick, nice little dash to not hit it, because that hits, you're asleep and you're dead. Like, that's it. It's a short nap and a long nap. Instead, dashes away, no CC, life is easy. All's Gucci.
Indeed, yeah, and like, it's especially with, we have the culling and the exhaust. I mean, Gucci has been saving themselves with these exhausts, I think, because Cool Crab, you notice on the other side, Cool Crab is the one in charge of the exhaust. All Gucci is the one left up to it. Delilah tries to go in, does have the lilting lullaby, doesn't want to use it yet. Ovo has popped the ultimate, but Delilah with the Q just cleans them up. That sensor doing a ton of damage, and Rift Herald is going to be dropped in the mid lane. Gaoxiao just was not there in time.
Yeah, I mean, he didn't need to sing him to sleep in that situation. He was tired enough. Just kind of push him over and down he goes. And there is Shelly, as you like to say, the big crab, not the cool crab. But it looks like she's going to get cleaned up before she actually gets a charge off. If they can manage that, it would be huge.
That would be the second time. They just have to hit the eye once, and looks like the charge still got through. But in the meantime, one Hextech Dragon is now going to be spawning here soon. Cloud Dragon goes over to the side of Omega, 1-1 on the Drake count, and gold lead again. It is just not. It's shifting by matters of hundreds, right? These margins are not very large, and Mommy's guy still only at that level 10. Teleport still up, so once that level 11 comes through, I mean, I'm expecting a gank or something to happen on this top side once this Kayle gets to the point where she can pop off.
A reminder that at this point in the last game, Delilah had 7 kills already.
Yeah.
And there was I think 4,000 gold difference. So definitely closer than what we saw last time.
Yep.
I know there's a lot of people out there who aren't, nobody likes the Hex Soul. Okay, I get it. Sure, it's broken. But the Hex gates are really cool, in my opinion. Last week, we saw some neat plays in terms of getaways with them, and I would love to see something similar in terms of flank setups from Omega's side, because if that Sylas can get onto the Zeri before the Zeri's ready to do much, then that's going to be a very different fight than if they just try and go front to back.
Yeah, you were talking about it. It's like, it's kind of going to be all Gucci's job, towards this end game, if Mommy's guy isn't able to carry it, to essentially, run the, be the king of the hill here and demo.
The hill?
Okay, look, all right, I'm from Georgia. The accent's coming out a little bit. But, the Kingslayer is very much there. Delilah once again hovering on this bottom side of the map. Both junglers are here, and they are just waiting. They are playing a game of footsie here. Gucci gets hit with some damage, and Gaoxiao wants to go for the engage. Just barely manages to miss 3 of them. Gets hit with the drowsy, goes to sleep, but is still very much alive. You're seeing the TP come through from the Gangplank. That is the shutdown onto Delilah. All Gucci is trying to make something happen here. That actually was not the Gangplank TP. That was Devo in flashes in with the Kingslayer, slays the Zeri. It's exactly as we were talking about, but now Mommy's guy is on the way. Wants to get here for this fight. Zach falls. The passive was already procced, and Ovo has arrived. Kale is here. This is a lot of damage now coming out. That's a triple kill for the Silas, but it just doesn't matter. Omega, they might have overextended, and hold on. Ovo a little bit under the turret, but that is kills going into the pockets of both teams. It is 3 for 2. Omega,
and as a shock to absolutely no one, Sauter is still in top lane, just split pushing while his team fights and kills and dies. It's exactly what we expect to see. Demo, phenomenal teleport right there. That was a very, very forced engage. I mean, ultimately, it doesn't matter because they got top turret as well. It just overall incredible, but Sauter, you might want to consider teleporting now.
yeah. Get on out of there. The rest of Moonstone, they are on the way. But, you know, that team fight, it's, you know, if you're Moonstone, I don't know if you're too happy about that because, you know, you did kind of have the numbers advantage pretty early there. The Zac was asleep, effectively out of the fight. Demo was the first one to TP in, and then it still ended up getting kind of turned. So, you know, as soon as Mommy's guy came in, it just, you know, that spelled the doom of the team fight here. So we haven't seen any action on this top side. The only kill on Mommy's guy came from that teleport, and the assists came from the cannon barrages again. This top lane has been so quiet.
Yeah, but you know what? It's 2 assists for 1 kill. Kind of the same ultimately, right? It's pretty similar. The difference is one used an ultimate that's, look, it's almost off cooldown. The other used a teleport that's about a third or almost halfway, I guess. Exactly. Very different situation there. And right up until Zeri hit this mid lane, she was actually a full level down from her support and 2 levels down from the opposing ADC. Right. So she has been bullied and forced out just continuously, and I need to see her getting more farm and getting more experience and getting as fed as we need to see her for her to be really to hit this, like, that status of hyper carry that we know her for, but as soon as possible.
Yeah, and she's, you know, does have 3 kills to her name, but those have all been from those bot lane engages that have come out of Omega, really. So it's, you know, it's kind of 6 of one, half a dozen of another, but all Gucci, you know, exhaust is down for the time being. Lucian, that culling is up, and it actually looks like, you know, Moonstone, they want to start making a play around here. The Swirl Seed is used maybe a little prematurely on Gao Shao, but Dragon is spawning here in about 10 seconds, and it looks like Omega want to set up for it. They are continuing their MO of just stacking the soul.
Yep, and honestly, can't blame them. They have a great comp for it. Huge pick here.
Oh no, Allen and the Kale ultimate comes through just in time, though, and Delilah is the first one to fall. The culling comes through, giving King Civil a little bit of moves, trying to get out of there. Demo maybe going to get caught as well. Gets slowed. The blue smite coming in clutch, and that's a shutdown. Demo falls. It is 2-0 Moonstone. They get command over this dragon pit.
That is the tie turner of the Kale ultimate. That is why Omega banned it in the first game. They didn't want to see it. Now they have to deal with it. And guess what? That is a level 13 Kale that is past the 11-minute mark that we knew they had to be scared of. They had an incredible pick. I said it. I shouldn't have, because it all gets turned. This is the power of Kale. Your opponent has 1 piece of hard CC. They use it. Kale says, nah, I don't think so. And that's it. 3 kills.
Yeah, the Divine Judgment was absolutely clutch. And it's, you know, the Divine Judgment, it saved Alanin, and then it killed Delilah. Right? It just absolutely did its job. This Kale now coming in clutch. Didn't even have to use the TP. Cool Crab gets rooted by the last embrace. And Alanin, this is supportal combat. That the Karma absolutely never wins. Alanin is going to pay for it. Gets killed. That was really, effectively, that was a 3v1. So maybe getting a little big for their britches there. And Ovo is now going to get punished for it as well. That is a ton of damage coming out. Demo pops the Demonic Ascension as well. Ovo's trying to get out of there, but that is the shutdown. Zach manages to knock them both back into the turret. Delilah has to go into the stasis to stay alive very briefly, but Mommy's guy is here. Use the TP to come down and join the fight, and it is 2 for 3. Omega, they fall. Moonstone, they are clawing their way back into the lead in this game.
We finally see the time hit, and Kale gets to make waves, literally and in terms of impact. This is it. This is the end-all, be-all situation for them now. Kale is online, is going to just feed like a vampire in a blood bank at this point. They held out. That's all you can really say. They lost 2 towers and got to the point where their end game came online. Now Omega has to be scared. They have to play a near perfect game. Otherwise, Mommy's guy is going to keep showing up to these fights, keep picking up kills, and just get even further and further out of hand.
Yeah, this has been a Kayle this has been a non-fed Kayle, right? Had a very minor CS lead, and now Gaoxiao wants to go in, get Ovo up on the scoreboard a little bit more, but King Civil flashes and dashes and cleanses out of the way. And in the meantime, Shelly once again will start to make some waves. We'll actually get a charge in this time on the turret, but that should not take it out yet. So Rift Herald used once again before it times out, and to not much effect.
Yeah, it is what it is. We've seen 3 dragons go down at this point, which is great. It's split, and no one's pushing Soul super early. We've only got a 2k gold difference in the favor of Moonstone this time, totally different than what we saw before. It's a game. It's a match. We're 21 minutes in, and we have no clear one side, right? Yeah. This is everything that you could ask for compared to the last game, where it was just like, well, there's a 96 kill difference at 9 minutes. Wonderful.
Yeah, and to be fair, Delilah still has 5 kills, has the Leandries, has the second item. Those sword shoes are going to be doing a fair amount of damage, but on the other side, oh, hold on, King Civil is getting a chunk out. The last embrace doesn't quite hit, and Solo's going to try to back up. Alan does have the Dawning Shadow if they want to use it. The wave pushes in, but for the time being, it looks like they're actually going to make a move for the Baron pit.
I don't know if this is going to be an actual Baron or they just want Vision to try and bait it in situation. Either way, everyone needs to be careful.
This is going to be a team fight, though. Cool Crab does get locked down, but the Lilting Lullaby locks down the Swain. Senna falls as well. The GP ultimate once again over the top, and Kayle is not here. Your hyper carry is on the bottom side of the map. It is up to Gaoxiao and Gucci to try to keep themselves alive and make it happen. Instead, everyone is just going to disengage. Ovo and Alan and fall. Cool Crab is the only one that dies on the other side.
They're looking, they cleared out some vision on that Baron. They're not going to look for it, which I do not think that Omega should be trying to push this Baron right now. They need to look at the Dragon Timer, go pick up some vision down there because they have none.
Right.
But you're right. The biggest thing to take from that fight was there was no Kayle. At all. Kayle did not exist in that fight. Super unfortunate. And here we see Zeri trying to push a little bit. But again, you got to be careful. Sure, you got a lot of sustain, whatever, but that's still a Silas.
Yeah. Okay, that Silas can absolutely delete you. Already has the Everfrost. It's, it is a Zeri. She can move, but that was, already one of her dashes used to get over the wall. So getting out of that Everfrost range and then having to deal with potentially the Kingslayer and then Silas maybe stealing her ultimate, I don't think you want that. And we saw Gucci just go over the wall and then think twice about it and just run away.
Yeah, just kind of took a hop and turn around. We've all been there. You're going for a walk, you take a turn down a street and you go, maybe I shouldn't be here.
Exactly. And now we're getting the setup around this dragon bit, Oshi. I mean, this is once again Omega. They are not here first, and all of a sudden, never mind, you can't talk yet, my friend. Moonstone, they want to go in. Delilah gets shut down. Mommy's guy is here and not here to play. They are here to win. Demo goes in, tries to steal some ultimates, gets the Kingslayer down. That is Alan that has fallen. The calling is coming through, but it's only hitting onto Ovo. Gaoxiao is quite weak. Ovo pops the stasis. The damage is coming through. Demo pops the demonic ascension of his own to heal back up. This team fight is going on forever. Nobody has died too much yet. These health bars are so tiny. Mommy's guy is the only one left standing. It is 4 for 1. That could have gone so many different ways. But at the end of it, Omega get the next dragon.
Demo is a monster. Absolute insanity in this fight. He gets in on the Senna, pops her, says you're out. It doesn't matter. You're gonna die. And then what does he do? Takes the Swain ult and says you can't kill me. And the biggest thing with Silas is you can still use your abilities while in that Swain ult. And guess what? That's where all of his damage comes from anyways.
Yeah.
Just continues to carry the fight. Basically 1v4s at the end of that to just drain health bars while he's in stasis. And now there's a dragon or a Baron gone down.
Yeah, and Alan, a little bit too late on trying to get the steal. I don't think it would have happened anyways. And that is now, Moonstone, again, this game is a lot of back and forth. It is now their turn to be up by 2,000 gold. And just a brief check-in on the items, Moonstone, seeing what they have acquired, seeing what they're getting here. Really, Karma gets the Chemtech Putrefier, is going to be, you know, cutting down on a lot of that healing coming in, so that's something to keep an eye out on. But otherwise, you know, across the board, item advantage is pretty much equal. It's just, you know, it's coming down now. This money from the Baron could be what really shifts it, I think.
Here's the big thing. That Putrefier is massive and is incredibly important when you take a look at all of the healing that's on the one side. But if you look at the items from that side that has all of the healing, what they do not have is healing debuff. They have a Sunfire's Cape. Yeah. Maybe that might help a little bit. So when you have a Sylas take that Swain ult, he's not going to die. Yeah,
because he's Sylas, and then also Swain, and the scaling on that can be crazy. And now, I mean, it's if you're Moonstone, where do you attack from now?
Wherever you want. No, I'm just kidding. That's Omega.
Oh, hold on. It looks like Gaosha wants to attack from the jungle. It's all of a sudden a 4v4. Delilah manages to stasis out of the Dawning Shadow, but Gaosha is still in the middle of 4 of them. That is the Sylas taken down already, but King Civil gets one in trade. King Civil is very, very low. Has to flash, cleanse, and dash out of there. Delilah low herself. Alanin trying to get the chase down. This is a Senna, has quite a bit of range. The last embrace will not quite hit the Karma shield. The Karma speed up, gonna do a lot here. Cool Crowd gets very, very low, and Alanin takes it down. Dodges the Swirl Seed. Delilah, King Civil, they are on the run. All Gucci just barely misses the railgun. King Civil and Delilah, they make it out of there just barely.
Oh, I just about screamed if that railgun hit either of them. That would have been the most incredible walk-up play ever. Alanin knowing exactly what his limits are and how many times are we going to have to see this.
Mommy's guy, they are just so aggressive here. Sauter, you never win that one. Mommy's guy does have to burn the ultimate, but the cooldown on that should be back up before the next dragon fight.
I have to point out the fact that Sauter bought Prowler's Claw.
Hey,
so Sauter's intent is to assassinate a Kayle.
It's assassinate the Zeri, you know? It's assassinate the Zeri. The GP assassinates Zeri flank.
But he has to be at the fight.
That is true.
Right? Which he isn't. Interesting choice. He probably knows more about it than I do, though.
Yeah, there must be some interaction with the cannon barrage. You know, if he hides in a brush, maybe the cannon barrage gets the proc or something.
No, because you have to dash. It's a targeted use.
Yeah, I don't know. Look, I don't know. I'm not gonna question it. We saw a Moonstone on Mommy's guy on the Swain in the last game. We see a Prowler's Claw on the GP in this game. I'm not gonna question it. You know, again, I'm a Plastic 5 player. You know, on my best day, Oshi himself said that I was no better than a beginner bot. So what do I know? But we're gonna have to see that. Once again, that is a Baron push, pretty effectively stopped for the side of Moonstone. So Omega, they get these Barons, and then they just seem to kind of throw it away.
I gotta. Oh my gosh! Again, again.
Mommy's guy is very aggressive under this turret. Oh my god! Even just tanking the turret shots, Sauter doesn't stand a chance. Can't even stand under his own turret. That's 45 seconds. We'll maybe be alive to start off. You know, after this Drake fight kicks off.
Maybe. I mean, as long as he spawns, he can ult, which is most of what he does anyways. Huge engage in the mid, though.
Oh, King Civil dashes out of the Zac engage, but we see the lilting lullaby now onto all Gucci. That is the Zeri. The damage is mitigated very, very briefly, but Mommy's guy is the one that TPs in, and the damage is coming down. Here we see the Divine Judgment. It comes in. The save comes through, but Demo steals it away, uses it on himself. Damage traded, damage used to kill out the dear Demo now. These are a lot of Ds. Holy cow. And all of a sudden, things have swung very, very swiftly in the favor of Moonstone Gaming. That is an ace for their side, and that is going to be Dragon number 3.
You can steal the Divine Judgment, but you cannot steal the Rift Maker. That was the difference maker in that fight. Mommy's guy ended up low, just the same as Demo did, but the difference is that Omni-Vent able to heal back up, sustain what remaining burst there was from the Sylas. And this is the situation that we're in. Another dragon gone down. Mommy's guy and Ovo just going to walk away after a nice clean push down mid. And what did we see? Yet again, we saw a fight going back and forth and back. Kayle.
Divine Judgment, baby.
Yeah.
That is probably the coolest recall animation I have ever seen.
Just hopping in a pool.
I'm so jealous. It's okay. Actually, I can't be that jealous. I literally work at a pool. But it is so hot here. That is so cool, so refreshing. I'm sure Gaoxiao feels absolutely amazing about that. Also, you know what? I know we're in the middle of a game, but I'm so mad that we did not see any of the new Star Guardian skins so far in this matchup. All right.
That is a Star Guardian sin. You're
Where
right.
is it? The Senna?
No, sin.
Oh, it's a Star Guardian Sin. Yeah, I'm furious. Those skins are so good. But anyways, I've rambled long enough. Back to the game. You were right on the Riftmaker, but I mean, you know, it seemed like maybe that Sunfire Cape did enough heal cut on that Silas to actually make him die for once.
Silas didn't have Swain's ultimate in that one, which was really a massive thing. He didn't have the sustain. He's got his own little bit, right? Yeah, obviously, don't get me wrong, but he didn't have the Swain ultimate to keep it going and going and going while his abilities were on the slow cooldowns that they have as is. But we don't see any itemization changes coming from the side of Moonstone. And quite frankly, why should they after that fight? It didn't matter. Interesting bush to sit in considering they have no Baron vision aside from the rail cannon. But, oh no.
Oh, Demo manages to dash away, is not quite caught by the Zac arms, and this is engaged very briefly down, but it doesn't matter. Demo gets rooted by the last embrace, but the team managed to provide enough interference that he does not die. Solder is sitting on a ward for the time being, tries to get a barrel to hit onto Gaoxiao, but for the time being, looks like Moonstone Gaming to have a little bit of priority over the river. Gaoxiao is a second too late on jumping into that bush, and Swarovski does come in. It hits two. Lilting Lullaby not committed yet. Didn't hit enough players, and this is going to be the Baron start for the side of Moonstone.
Yeah, not really sure. I mean, yeah, exactly that. They have to just delay it until until Silas gets back, right?
That is a lot of ultimates burned very, very early. Ovo already used the Divine Judgment without a lot of commitment. Oh, that is a absolutely massive amount of burst. Lucian goes down. Karma falls. We're seeing Demo try to make something happen. Does indeed have the demonic ascension this time around, and it is Ovo versus Demo on this backside of the fight. But now it is Demo versus absolutely everybody. Another ace for the side of Moonstone Gaming. This is going to be their Baron. They are going to break apart this map.
The replay on this one, the biggest thing to watch is the left side of your screen here. The fight starts off incredibly well. It's a good gangplank. They manage to force the disengage. They buy just enough time for Silas to show up. But what does Silas do? He goes to the strong side. He says, you're a tanky character. I'll come after you. Meanwhile, in your left-hand side there, you see Delilah try and get on the back line. Like, Delilah is trying to fight a Kayle and a Senna alone. Meanwhile, you have Demo trying to fight a Swain and a Zac alone.
A little bit kind of opposite jobs, and oh my goodness, I have no clue how Gaoxiao got that kill. It must have been like the last auto attack because Mommy's guy did 99% of that damage.
I'm gonna go ahead and say Sunfire gave it to him. It's like that 16 damage dick.
Of course, that'll do it. But
it's
hey,
just stat padding because now he's 4-4-1-4 on his stats, just to make the numbers clean.
Yep, gotta make it look good. You know. And all of a sudden, there was a considerable amount of action in the early game, enough that Alnin had 5 kills before Mommy's guy had even 1. Now this Kayle is at 9-0-6, has 4 full items, boots, stopwatch, and this is about the worst situation I think you could probably be in if you are Omega, because Kayle's level 18 and your highest member is level 16.
And quite frankly, I mean, I called for the Zeri. They picked the Zeri, and what have we not seen much of is the Zeri. Zeri has 4 kills. Okay, cool. Nowhere near as fed as the rest of the team. I mean, doesn't matter. Picks one up there as well.
Gaoxiao with the absolutely Chad blast cone into the pit of the red buff. That's the Cannon Barrage used. It is committed. Again, major team fight ultimate gone. Cool Crab is dead. And this is numbers advantage, ultimate advantage in the favor of Moonstone Gaming. Gaoxiao wants to go in, gets the knockup onto Delilah, can absolutely 1v1 the Lilia here. Both players go for, well, actually the flash only comes out of Delilah, so she gets away for the time being, but this is now going to be Soul for the side of Moonstone Gaming, unless Demo has something to say about it, but he's trying to recall, is on top of some wards. The last embrace comes through, does have the demonic ascension, doesn't even get a chance to pop it, and falls as the dragon does. Hextech Soul in the pocket of Moonstone Gaming.
Alanin, the AD carry this game without question. I mean, Gucci popped That like just pop that kill. Easy. Look at Mom. Oh my god.
No. Goodbye, Delilah. There is no more hay there. She is just gone. And Gao Xiao says, get over here to Cool Crab. A double kill for Mommy's guy. The inhibitor's gonna fall. This is Baron buff. This is Hextech Soul. This is only Sauter and King Civil alive. Red side seems to be the kings in this matchup. And Mommy's guy is taking a ton of damage, and that is a shutdown. Gao Xiao gets pulled into the laser of the fountain, but it just doesn't matter. Sauter's the only one left standing. These turrets are going to fall. The Nexus is going to fall. Moonstone Gaming, they're gonna even it up 1-1 in the series.
Absolute Chad of the game. Gao Xiao showing up in exactly what I wanted to see from him. A huge change up. Champions make the difference. That is what we saw. This was not a win at draft. This was not a lose at draft. This was fine. Nothing stupid. We'll come at you head to head. And boy, howdy did they.
Yeah, they met them head on, and it worked. You know, I will say this is definitely a back and forth game. Probably like just some of those, you know, I think the team fighting, it seems like Moonstone, when it gets down to the nitty gritty, even in the last game when it came down to team fighting, it seemed like Moonstone, even when they were behind, they were able to come back. And now when they were even, Moonstone just seemed like the better team fighting team.
Yeah, without question. Overall in the overall map play, I mean, you have to give it to Omega. Omega's ability to split and to control the map is phenomenal. But like you said, when those engages come through, when those fights finally hit, it was all Moonstone. Both games.
Yeah. And it was even, you know, Mommy's guy performed well on the Swain last time, put it in the hands of Ovo this time. Ovo did pretty solidly, but it was just, I mean, that Kale performance, well, it just, you know, Delilah didn't pay enough attention to the top lane, it seemed, and it definitely bit them in the butt. At no point did Kale have to worry about getting behind. They just let the Kale scale.
Yeah, they let Kale do what Kale does best. They said, go, enjoy your island, which is everything that you could ask for as a Kale. You're playing against a gangplank. Okay, yeah, it's a little tough while you're both in melee and you're eating Qs, so you just heal yourself. But then you get range. Well, what's he going to do? He can't walk at you anymore.
Exactly.
Absolutely love to see it. And now, because you said something, I want to see Delilah play Rumble in the jungle so that I can say, hey, Delilah, what's it like in Bandit City?
Yeah, you know what? I would love to see it too. You know, we've had one AP jungler. Maybe we'll see it. Maybe we'll see another one. I don't know if we're gonna see a Rumble jungle. I think that thing has been dead since MSI of 2020. But who knows? We will have to see in game number 3. We'll be getting into that in just a moment. Don't go anywhere. Hello, everybody, and we are just about to get back into the action for the draft for game number 3, the decider between Moonstone Gaming and Omega Gaming Obsidian. Game number 1 was a stomp for Omega. Game number 2 felt a lot more back and forth, but Moonstone took it decisively in the end. And coming into this draft, I expect some more strategy to get changed, at least, a little bit more.
They're going to ban Kale.
I would not be surprised. I think we're probably going to see
That's
a Viego and a Kale ban. I think
yeah.
if we could get a prediction running in chat about whether or not Viego and Kale are going to get banned, I'm pretty sure people would make bank on that.
Yeah, very easily. Unfortunately, it's too late because we already said it's going to happen, which means it's probably going to happen, which means I don't know. I have no idea at this point. We're seeing the exact same bans that we saw last time. There goes the
Viego's
Viego, there
gone,
goes the
Kale's
Kale.
gone. Boom.
Okay.
There we go. We
Now,
called it. We're so smart.
Nami is open. Lucian is open. Zeri is open. I was about to say Senna is open.
Yeah.
There's a lot of prioritized picks that are still right there.
Yeah.
For everybody.
So that's Moonstone picking up the Senna. They've piloted. They've decided to pilot it in every game so far. It definitely seems like they think it's a power pick coming into this patch, or maybe they're just super comfortable on it. And Omega, it seems like they're still deliberating for the time being on what they're going to bring into this, and they spend that time deliberating, just first picking Karma Ash again. This was the same pickup that they did on Red Side last time.
Yeah, love to see it. Can't disagree with this pick, and honestly, picking up both of them at the same time, that's the right way to do it, because then it's there, it's set. They don't see the Karma and go, oh, I'm going to ban the Ash, and then you have to worry about it. Pick them both up right away. Again, I mentioned, Karma could kind of be a flex pick, especially. I don't think we're going to see it. Love the Swain. Yes, huge agree. I don't know. There's so much that has gone well and so much that has gone poorly for both sides.
Yeah. Okay. There's the Zach pickup.
I love these two together.
I'm gonna be honest. It's kind of hard to say new things because these drafts it seems like both teams are like, okay, you know what? If we just do the exact same draft, we still win. But much bigger difference, much tankier in the jungle. That is the Troll King Trundle.
Not just tankier, better at fighting. Lily is great. Don't get me wrong. But when you have a Zac that you're struggling to burn through and a Swain that you're struggling to burn through, you throw Trundle in there and it doesn't matter. Okay, let's say you happen to catch out the AD carry. Pop your ult on them anyways. That's 40% of their resistance is gone. 40% magic resist, 40% armor gone. That's massive no matter who you use it on. Trundle can brawl the heck out of Zac in the jungle. Not a problem at all. Huge mobility. Like, look at the zone control and the disengage coming out of Omega right now versus Moon.
Yep. And that is a Silas win. Omega, they did ban the GP, but Moonstone, they banned away the Silas, which, I mean, I'm going to be honest. I was looking at Omega's team composition. I'm like, yeah, Silas feels like he would do some work with this one. And that's the Azir banned away from Omega for Omega as well.
Now, we are going into game 3 with 2 Jace mains that have not played Jace.
That is true. I mean, hey, once you get into the Plat leagues, once you get here and scrapping, sometimes you just leave your best picks, to the side because everyone else knows how to counter them. Because I mean, honestly, if you are either the top laners here and your opponent is not banning Jace, that's got to feel like, okay, they have a counter pick to it, right? They know what to play against it. And both these top laners, they know. It feels like they probably know the matchup really well across the board. So I could see them being nervous about potentially picking it into somebody else who knows the matchup very well.
Yeah, very much so. Sorry, I'm caught up on this Anivia ban because it's not normal, but I adore it. I think Karma mid.
Karma mid, I like it. That Monsoon, hey, or hold on. No, I was going to say it because it would have been funny. No, I don't think Janna Smite top is coming back anytime soon.
No, I have played Janna mid a lot, though.
Oh, okay.
Yes, full AP Janna mid used to one-shot minion wave with Q by level 8.
That's, okay, so you said used to. Do we have any, any confirmation on whether, okay, still doesn't,
no, it's
no
not
longer
happening.
does?
Oh, I have no idea if it does or not, but it's not happening. We're not going to see Janna mid. It's just not going to happen. But what I was going to say is I love the Anivia ban. Whether or not Omega plays it, Anivia is a perfect character for the composition that they have because it's all zone control right now. And it definitely accompanies that flawlessly. That said, I almost wouldn't mind seeing Sejuani top with this comp.
Right. Just make it beefy. You know, we've seen Moonstone kind
Mhm.
of get the meatball comps going a little bit. Omega, you know, maybe get their turn going with the double enchanters.
Ooh.
And that's a misfortune. So I guess we're seeing that Swain mid again.
Yeah. I mean, we're not seeing anything super unusual in these lanes. We're going to see Camille top, Zach jungle, Swain mid, Misfortune, and Senna bot lane. I mean,
Right.
the Senna's been doing wonderful, even no matter what. Sure, they lost one game. Doesn't matter. Senna was doing, or sorry, no, Senna won that game. Senna's won both games.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's been a
Senna's
very
won both
powerful
games.
pick.
Yeah.
It's been a very powerful pick. That's all I can say.
Ooh.
Oh, that's a Vel'Koz pick. Who's
Janna top lane?
I think
No, Karma top lane.
Vel'Koz mid, Karma top. I
Vel'Koz
could
mid,
see it.
Vel'Koz mid, Karma top, Janna support.
Interesting. This Karma
Because
Camille matchup, I'm very interested to watch.
you just Camille comes at you and you just empower W her and walk away.
And then, I mean, you know, but what's the Trundle gonna do? Okay? I'm gonna go ahead and ask you this now. Where's the Trundle gonna make an impact? Where is Delilah going to try to get first blood? Because we know Delilah's gonna try to get first blood.
Oh, of course, that's his MO without question. It's got to be mid. Honestly, I think if we can see the Swain get burned down, that's going to be the way that it goes. That's
Right.
all I can think of right now. It's not a super high damage comp from Omega, but that's not what they're playing for. They're not
Right.
trying to burst you. They're trying to slow roll you. They want to
Yeah.
be able to slowly move towards you, and you go, all right, we go in now, and they say, I'm not ready. I don't feel like it. I've got a headache. You know, it's
Right.
so you know you're going to see the Zac dive. But here's the thing: the Zac can dive in.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter what you do, right? Nothing that they have will stop that. Actually, that's not true. The tornado will interrupt it. Same thing with Camille. Yeah, same thing with the Camille. But okay, you jump in, Janna ult, you're all gone.
Yeah.
It's
what you're saying. It was zone control.
Yeah, it's 100% zone control right now. And it worked really well for them the first time they played it. They played it incredibly, incredibly well. But the biggest thing they had then was the gangplank in the side lane. Karma is not the same as that. Karma does not have that universal ability to be in the side lane. So they have to 5-man push or 2-3 push. There's no other way about it.
Yeah, that was one thing I was kind of thinking of. This is definitely like, this is Omega putting together finally a team fight comp, when before they've really been playing these side lanes super heavily. They've been trying to pull Moonstone around the map, and it worked pretty well in game 1. In game 2, I think Moonstone just, you know, they knew exactly what they wanted to do. And honestly, I thought Omega was just grouping up too much. But, you know, now Moonstone, they have the Camille, definitely a split pusher, but more than happy to be in a team fight. And, you know, for Omega, I'm just kind of nervous because, you know, even if this draft is something that they feel really, really good about, it seems like they're playing right into Moonstone's hands of just let's 5v5, you know, in the mid lane at the Dragon Pit and see who wins.
Yeah, it's going to be really interesting in the overall. Again, it's the same situation as the first game. If Omega can start pulling ahead, the engage won't matter. You won't be strong enough to get an engage off. You're going to start kind of thinking about it, and you're going to get poked down, and then it's going to be too late. There's just it's going to be all about that sustain, right? I almost want to see like a second item Warmogs on the Zac, for example, just so that you're kind of feeling it out. You're getting poked down, but then you just heal right back up. The most important thing right now, though, is to favor chat and say, hey, does anyone here know any players who are particularly good at Vel'Koz, the Eye of the Void? I'm trying to learn a new top lane off meta. I'm not finishing.
Oh man, we love a good copy pasta. We love a good meme. But we have the teams locked in. Everybody is pretty much where you called Oshi. So I'm ready to get into game number 3. We'll take a brief delay for our spectator break. And while we are on that delay, once again, please check out our wonderful sponsor, Pro Comps. There should be links posted in chat. And of course, there will be a little button that you can press down below the stream. You can get 50% off your first 3 months to use a phenomenal tool built for drafting and creating a better team comp for you, both in your competitive games and in solo queue. Get that drafting edge. Drafting wins games, folks. It's always the draft diff. But we'll see who draft diffs who in this upcoming game for the final decider between Moonstone and Omega. See you in a bit. Hello, everybody. Welcome back. We are getting ready to rumble. Unfortunately, there's no rumble in the jungle, but we are getting ready to rumble here for game number 3 between Moonstone Gaming and Omega Gaming Obsidian. These teams are absolutely here to scrap and take names and preserve, to be fair, it's only week 2, but they both want to preserve their perfect record here so far in the CCS.
Yeah, exactly. We may not have a rumble in the jungle for you, but we do have a trundle in the jungle for you, and that can be pretty exciting as well. Quite frankly, Delilah has been a look-to player in both games that we have seen so far. It's either all or nothing with him, and we're seeing a lot of all most of the time.
Yes, exactly. And it's worked out, and currently, Sauter and Mommy's guy are duking it out. I feel like the Camille wins this level 1 trade pretty convincingly, and Sauter forced to back, but minions have yet to spawn. So, Mommy's guy might actually
I can't blame him.
Recall. Nope, just stands there menacingly.
If he had the hard read, he could have just used the ability as he walked up to the bush.
Yep.
And it would have stopped it. Unfortunately, we didn't see that, so UBC Sutter gets to walk away, walk back to lane, and ultimately nothing gained or lost for anyone.
Yeah, and right now, we got Cool Crab hanging out in the Dragon Pit for a little bit just to get some vision and maybe check out where Gao Xiao is going. Gao Xiao was pretty aggressive early in the last game, so that ward might just save their life. We'll certainly have to see though, and we are already seeing very aggressive trading coming out here from the bottom lane. They've wanted to scrap this entire match so far, and it looks like they are ready to keep that up.
I would expect absolutely nothing less from them. The unfortunate side, though, is this is not the Karma Ashe that was down there last time. This is a Janna. Janna does not brawl. Janna likes to shield you while you brawl. And unfortunately, you are going to be fighting 280 carries.
Yeah, this Sen has just done so much work, and we are already seeing... We're seeing the rain of bullets come down from this misfortune, and this lane is already looking to be oppressive. Mommy's guy wants to go and get the stun onto Sauter, already has the level advantage, and is trying to maintain the health advantage at the same time. Alan is getting slowed up by this ice and the tornado combined. It's it's no hard CC, but if you go slow enough, it's basically hard CC. So,
well, especially when it's when you've got an Ashe coming after you, it's going to keep you slowed. Yep. And then Janna's gonna W, and then you'll be slowed. So it's slow.
You can't move. You can't move. Look, it's like when you're out in the cold, all right, and there's ice on the ground. It's exactly what Glacial Augment is for. But that being said, we see a little bit of a counter engage from Cool Crab, trying to make sure that the last embrace cannot be acted upon. But Delilah is on the way first. Looks like there's going to be a little bit of a recall happening here.
Way.
Last embrace does get King Civil rooted down. The turret is flashed. Alanin trying to get out of there, and the first gank gets a flash. If you're Delilah, I think you take it.
Yeah, that is a perfect scenario. A super early gank, the level 3 walking down, you get a flash just by using Pillar. Cool. It was the support flash. You gotta keep that in mind. I mean, we do see Alanin doing a lot more than just support styled work. Delilah turning around. There's a ward though.
Yeah, this vision in the river is doing very, very well. Keep this bottom lane alive, and Gao Xiao is here, but is at half HP. Alanin does manage to get out. The heal is used by Gucci, but first blood goes over to Delilah. The troll flash to get the kill and wants to keep going forward. King Civil wants to get aggressive as well. Gao Xiao, the passive, is popped. Delilah trying to walk over it, but is caught between a rock and a hard place. Demo has arrived, used the teleport on the turret. Took a little while to get out here, and that is the Zac that has fallen. They've walked over the passive. Gucci is very, very low and is continuing to walk up the area, doing a little bit more chip damage, but at the end of the day, Omega Gaming went out on the trade, and they get a ton of those summoner spells.
Please, yeah, look at this replay. Watch the Janna tornado. It cancels the jump from Zac. Zac was not able to get his primary CC off. It would have been a 3-person knockup with where they were standing. It would have been a completely different fight, and they didn't even know he was there. Yeah. The fact that caught turned the whole thing. Delilah walks away with his life. The rest of Omega walks away with their lives. That was a tide turner.
Oh, and then, hold on. Sauter's just dead. Well, goodbye, Sauter. This Camille is going to have the time of her life in her lane, I think.
Yeah, that is the downside of playing. I mean, there's weak side, and then there's this, right? This is unfortunate right off the bat. On the initial engage, the amplified W was used, which is great. That's exactly what you want to be doing. But Mommy's guy just kept up the pressure, and so it is. And now the teleport's down for Sauter as well.
Yeah, the hook shot, it's scary if you push too far forward, and Sauter is more than happy to stay out of their turret range, apparently, and so far it has resulted in about a wave's worth of CS advantage so far. But otherwise, across the map, we do see that early sheen, fairly early sheen, coming into the pockets of Mommy's guy, so that's fairly useful. Will help in those trades, will help get the kills, I think, but otherwise, Gaoshao is down here once again, trying to make a play. He's spending a lot of time down here on the bottom side of the map.
Yeah, can't blame him. Delilah here as well, though, and that's why the jump gets off this time.
And here we see the engage worked out phenomenally, but Gaoshao still has to flash away. The rest of the team, Gucci and Alanin, weren't quite in range to follow up, and Alanin is bloodthirsty. Once these kills, the last embrace goes wide, and so the engage does not quite pay off.
King Civil has got to be the bravest person in this lobby. He had, I think, 70 HP and was still around for some unknown reason, auto-attacking minions while a Senna was chasing him, trying to get the kill.
And he's still around, and that Make It Rain does a considerable amount of damage, so the double up can as well. King Civil is absolutely playing on the knife's edge right now, and we're seeing the arrows come through. This is so dangerous, and looks
That
like
is trust.
That is complete faith in Cool Crab to keep him alive, and Mommy's guy gets a little bit of damage on Sauter, but it is not the all-in yet, despite hitting that level 6 mark.
Yeah, I mean, this is like a Camille Dream Lane, right? You're playing against a ranged, relatively squishy, non-bursty character, and you're just going to keep walking up. Look, what more could you ask for?
Yeah, it's basically a free health pack.
Yeah, repetitively, and then they used your main damage ability. Cool.
Root does come in, which keeps Sauter alive for a little bit, but Sauter just sticks around and getting some chip, but Mommy's guy, again, continuing to win out on the trades. That said, Sauter, hasn't lost too much more CS since the last time, but the hookshot coming through as well. Sauter gets rooted again, and just this health chunk is coming through again and again, but keeps on getting the roots. Sauter playing this well, I think.
He's playing it decently, and as long as he can get the empowered W's off, he gets a fair amount of health back, and that's the important thing about, in order to survive the harass here. The big thing, though, is he doesn't have attack damage, right? So he gets the root off, everything's on cooldown, you don't have the ability to empower your Q, so you've got no burst, so you're not doing any damage back.
Yeah. And that's, that's kind of the terrifying thing when you're up against the Karma with that Hex Tech ultimatum. But while we were looking up in the top side of the map, the bottom lane for Omega Gaming, Obsidian managed to pick up the first dragon with relatively little fight at all. I think, Delilah just said, hey, you know what? We got a little bit of lane priority. Let's push it. Let's make it happen. And meanwhile, that is a last embrace on Cool Crab, but doesn't get rooted in too much of a vulnerable spot. And so while damage is getting traded, there is some action about to happen on the top side of the map. We see the engage come through, but Mommy's guy dives underneath the turret. Gaoshao taking a fair chunk from this Karma, and Sauter is effectively dismantling this dive.
Yeah, it's a very difficult situation. They didn't quite layer CC properly, and so be it. He managed to get under the tower. Here's Delilah in the bot lane again. Doesn't even bother clearing out the ward. I was going to say, he just kind of walked past it at first. Cool Crab sitting on a ward, though. Learned the hard way.
Embrace does come in, but yeah. It's, these junglers, it seems like they know where they should play now. Delilah, we are seeing them keep on coming down to the bottom side of the map. They're making it work. Mommy's guy up on the top side, though, now is trying to get more damage onto Sauter. The Hextech ultimatum comes through. I mean, this is a dead Karma. The shield comes through to maybe stop the last tick of Ignite from taking her down, and indeed it does. She lives.
Yeah, Hextech ultimatum. Great push in the overall. That's teleport and Ignite down on the Camille, but she has wave. The wave is pushing to her. She lost very little there. CS, I gotta say, Sauter doing great so far. The CS is not phenomenal top lane at all.
Yeah, but now in the bottom lane, Alanin gets hit with the exhaust, but the turret, or the Trundle Pillar, actually makes it a little bit harder for them to chase down Alanin, who does go into the mist, but still gets chopped down. And now we're seeing Trundle. It's a 2v3 team fight for the time being, but, I mean, if you're Omega, you already got what you wanted, and you're going to head on out of here.
Yeah, Delilah, again, with that level advantage over Gaoshu, just showing the difference in, like we keep talking about, meta jungle versus slightly less meta jungle. Zach, yeah, played a lot. Trundle, played a ton. Does incredible, very, very strong.
Oh, that is a massive ultimate, and Ovo commits the flash, gets out with single-digit HP. Has to back immediately. Mommy's got going in again on Sauter. Doesn't quite land the wall dive, and Sauter goes for the shield. Manages to get out of there with absolutely no problem. Even get a considerable chunk onto Mommy's guy, taking them down to half health, even lower than that.
Sauter mixed up the gameplay there because of his positioning. I love watching him play this right now. He's doing phenomenal on the Karma. Yeah, sure, he died once. Okay, it happens. Whatever. You're top lane. You're on an island. It's going to go that way. That right there, he recognized the situation and did not panic. He said, you missed your wall dive, which means you missed your primary burst, walked away and tried to wait. Oh, it's King Civil.
King Civil. Oh! Over
okay,
the top. That flash was clean, but I mean, if you're Allen it, I think that's a little, that's a little bit of a throw.
No, Allen positioned his ult perfectly. Forced the flash. Otherwise, King Civil didn't have to flash that at all.
Interesting. Oh, no. King Civil surviving on 1 HP. I mean, you know what? I was looking at it. I thought, you know, maybe just 1 inch to the right, it would have done it, but you are correct. And now, I mean, King Civil has to back. We've seen now 2 players survive on, like, on absolute, on literal one shot, and they make it out.
Yeah, this isn't your friends playing Apex one shot either. This is absolute one shot. That's a lot of minions to fight in Mommy's guy.
Yeah, and the root comes in, and it's just a little bit more trading. And now the CS, you know, it's mostly even, and it'll be about a wave up for Mommy's guy now. If Mommy's guy even wants to go for it, but several have already died to the turret, and UBC Sauter is playing this lane phenomenally.
Yeah, Sauter, he's figuring everything. Oh, Crystal Arrow!
Oh, there's no flash this time around. Ovo falls, and King Civil racks up the assist.
Somebody call any movie maker at all. I don't know. I can't make an American Sniper joke in good taste. I'm sorry. Absolute long downtown pick by King there. Exactly what you want to see, and there's the ultimatum.
Yeah, and it just doesn't do enough. Although Gaoshao is here, Sauter will probably finally die, but it takes 2 committed. Sauter keeping a lot of HP, surprisingly, and survived for longer than I expected, but that's an ultimate. The Ignite, that was so much committed to try to kill the Karma. Just the Karma.
Yeah, that is 2 top. They did pick it up, though, and if they can turn that into a rift, it'll be huge. I don't think they're going to. They really should. Dragon's going.
Yeah, that's going to be Dragon number 2 going into the hands of Omega. Mommy's guy just wants to get some of the gold on this tower. Maybe they're really close to getting their first mythic. Demo does get knocked up, but again, Ovo is not quite there to be able to follow up. The root, the pull comes through, and Gaoshao and Ovo, they hear that the dragon gets taken down, and they go on the run, but once again, Ovo gets knocked up, chopped up. The pillar comes through, and Ovo just barely manages to make it out. Here we see the bullet time. It does a ton of damage. How has nobody died? The exhaust finally comes through into all Gucci. King Civil picks up. Actually, Demo is the one that takes it down. The Zac passive has been popped. Sauter tries to take him away, but it looks like maybe Gaoshao is going to make it back, but no, Delilah takes it down. That is 2 for 1. Actually, I think that's a clean 2 for 0. I thought somebody must have died on the side of Omega, but no, and Allen even gets chunked out.
Oh my good. Now it's going to be a 2 for 1. Oh no, he walks out.
This guy isn't able to commit to it. These health bars were so low for the side of Omega, and Moonstone just couldn't capitalize on it.
That is what you call perfect tank rotation. And I don't mean your tank had perfect. No, they perfectly alternated damage all the way through. You don't see that anywhere but World of Warcraft raids. That was phenomenal on their part all the way through. Janna had the shields on the right people at the right time, the ultimate at the right time. Absolutely everything played out phenomenally well there. And this is why we were so scared of seeing them play 2 supports.
Yeah, it is certainly working out. And I mean, even if Karma is a support, you know, it looks like she's building more along the supportive path. So, you know, Moonstone Renewer, maybe Shirelia, as we could see, something along those lines. But, you know, even without her building something like, you know, like Leandries or Illudens, I think she's still going to be doing a lot of damage. And Mommy's guy does have the level advantage. And I will say, now the CS has started to eclipse a reasonable amount, and Mommy's guy wants to go in yet again. But Sauter with the root is just too clean on this Karma, man.
Yeah, he's playing it well, but it's not going to be perfect in this 1v1 lane, basically at any point. Karma is going to struggle all the way through because you just don't have the rotational burst necessarily, unless Mommy's guy is super linear.
Yeah, but I mean, Mommy's guy does keep doing the exact same thing again and again, and Sauter just has the response for it. Speaking of doing the exact same thing again and again, Gaoshao is in the mid lane once more. Demo is trying to get out of there, does manage to do it. Ovo on the chase, though. Demonic Ascension is popped, but Cool, Crab, and Delilah are here. We see a flash engage out of the Gao Xiao, and all of a sudden it has turned. Delilah goes on a rampage. The Hextech ultimatum gets completely negated by Sauter, who survives on half HP, and Gao Xiao with the blast cone manages to escape, but Ovo is somehow the one that falls in that situation.
Cool Crab is why. This Janna is why. I watched them walk up and I'm going, you're in range for the shield. Use the shield. Use the shield. No. He had a tornado charging. He waited to get the knockups on the tornado before the shield, so they didn't know it was coming, and they picked up a kill.
It was absolutely beautiful. Cool Crab on this Janna is putting on a very solid performance so far. I'm definitely keeping an eye on it, but a brief check-in on items now. We do have a slight gold advantage. I say slight. 2,000 is not necessarily slight, but Omega, this is not necessarily like a 4,000 gold advantage that they have. They definitely have the money in their pockets, though. It is Shirelius on the Karma, Divine Sunderer on the Trundle, Vel'Koz with the Liandry's, Bork for the Ashe, and there we see the Moonstone for Janna. In the meantime, 2 of the 3 members on the side of Moonstone do not have completed items. We see Sunderer, Sunfire Cave, and we see a not transformed yet Manamune. So that's something to keep an eye out. They are currently down in items considerably. And we've been talking about, we've been talking about CS in the top lane. Look at the CS in the mid lane.
It's not even close. The Vel'Koz is having... the Vel'Koz matchup here is painful for Sweat. How?
Another one.
How?
He's just standing on the wave, and Demo doesn't even have to use the rest of the ultimate, and it gets the kill with the Liandry's burn, and Gao Xiao dives in. This turret is literally one shot. They can hit it with a single auto attack, and Gao Xiao is now going to fall as well. Tried to go in to save his teammate, but it was too little too late.
How does he keep hitting these? There's
the
look
predictions.
Look at the river. There's 2 river wards.
That's it.
He
It's a
knew
minion
the
wave.
arrow was coming. He could see it.
I have no explanations for this. All right, sometimes you get the tunnel vision. You're down CS, you want to get those last minions, you think you have the fancy feet to dodge it, but I mean, didn't even use the flash there is the hard part. So
Didn't even use his ult. He died before he could ult.
Yeah, so that's definitely Ovo. I think definitely needs to get that mentality, under focus. There were a couple of things that definitely maybe not would have saved him, but would have delayed until Gao Xiao was there. And Ovo again walking so far forward and now has to use the flash. It gets burned and they're down to below half HP and they have to recall after just walking out of base.
I have to say, Ovo is not respecting the map in the slightest right now. He is not paying any attention to where they don't have vision. He's
Right.
just kind of, oh yeah, it's our jungle, I guess. No, it's really not.
Yeah. Oh, Mommy's guy does not go in for the wall dive. Delilah and Demo are here. Mommy's guy is now trapped. The hookshot is down very, very briefly. The Hextech ultimatum gets popped, but Delilah takes away the resistances, utilizes the ultimate in supreme fashion. But guess who else utilizes their ultimate supremely well? Misfortune with the bullet time over the top takes down 2. They win the trade. They win the health bars, but Alanin is getting chipped down by King Silva. King Silva with an aggressive flash and actually goes right under Gao Xiao's engage, but is getting chunked down so low. Cool Crab can't do enough. King Silva went too far in Ovo. Now the Demonic Ascension wants a little bit of revenge on Sauter. That is 4 down for Omega, and they overheated in that first game, and it looks like they're doing it again, but much worse now.
That's exactly what I was going to say. This is the identical thing that we saw in the first game, and we even talked about it after the second game. In these team fight scenarios, Moon is better. That's it. Moonstone is just better at team fighting. Omega is better at map control. That's why they keep getting these picks. That's why the Ashe is such a good champion for them, is because they are better at this map control. They're more aware. Delilah is everywhere.
Yeah.
Always exactly where he needs to be. Unfortunately, they just don't. I don't know if it's an execution error. I don't know if it's a communication error. I don't know if it's target priority. I don't know why, but they cannot team fight the way that they can do everything else.
Yeah, it's definitely a weakness, and it is a weakness that Moonstone is capitalizing on, but how? How? Ovo even saw it, and Ovo gets blown up again. Ovo was trying to dodge it and just walked right into its path.
Oh no.
No. Over half of their team's death. Ovo has to get something going here. Ovo needs a little bit of that map awareness that Omega have.
The worst part is I believe he picked up that 1 kill in the last team fight.
Yeah.
So his gold reset. So he's worth gold again.
Oh no.
Yeah, like that's one thing. If you just keep dying and you never pick any, you just don't reset your bounty or like your worth rather. Sure, fine, but on the opposite end,
looks like Mommy's guy is taking a chunk out of Sauter. These top laners keep duking it out, which I respect out of this Karma. More than happy to brawl, but it's just every time we go up there, it's just the same exact play of a wall dive going in. Alan gets half on the cool crab, so that could be a pretty significant amount of HP if a fight breaks out anytime soon. But like, considering there's only the Baron up, that's it.
Why does this top lane of two not very tanky champions feel like the same wet noodle fight that is Mundo versus Shen?
I don't. It is right. They just keep. Yeah, they just keep slapping each other and then walking away.
It looks like you have Sauter playing Mundo, and Mommy's guy playing Shen, where Shen dashes at the Mundo and Mundo goes, "Oh no!" and walks away and hits him with a Q and slows him, and that's it.
Then everything resets and nothing happens except Gao Xiao does show up. Sauter with the flash gets out of there completely, dodges the gank. It's just you can't kill this guy outside of team fights.
Well, they can, and they might again. There is 3 top now.
They really want to kill this Karma, and now with the Hextech ultimatum, it takes they bring 4 members up here, and he just said, "All right." Look, he said he'll take it. He's more than happy to. Meanwhile, his team gets a turret on the bottom side of the map. That said, Moonstone, they do pick up a turret themselves. That is their first turret of the game.
The big problem here is there's nothing they can do to stop this bot lane push. This should be an additional turret. That's 3 incredibly good turret-taking characters right there. And that's going to set them up for nothing because Dragon's still 2 minutes out. It's just a tower take, but it's huge. When you get this bot lane tower like that, I mean, let's say at some point, one of Red Team's champs can stand toe-to-toe with the Camille. Yep. Let's just say it's not likely, but let's say it does happen. Now you have Baron pressure.
Yes, exactly. And I doubt they're gonna put Delilah down there on the bottom side of the map. But maybe Demo with the ultimate just clears the wave. Although maybe you don't want to be mobile against the Camille. So it's a good question, but I don't know. It feels like it's slipping farther and farther away out of Moonstone's hands. The gold lead is not that insane. It's still just over 2K, 2,500, but as Delilah ramps up, it just, unless that, that's it. I say that, but the team fights keep going in Moonstone's favor.
I'm trying to figure out what King Civil's built like, because he has no interest in a mythic.
Huh. Well, neither does Gucci apparently.
Yeah.
Look, they're going for something.
That's a codex on Gucci.
I don't know. Oh, Demo. Oh no. They don't have vision. There might be an Astro coming in.
3.
Demo might just be able to kill it.
Yeah,
Demo might just be able to get it. Doesn't even need the Astro. Delilah comes down just to check it out, and Demo. This is what you were talking about, kind of, with that turret going down. They don't have the vision, and Ovo just pushes way too far up.
Again, like Ovo again, not respecting vision. They have 1 ward in their bottom jungle, and it was nowhere near where he is, and it actually just timed out as well.
Alan managed to flash over into the red pit to try to get out of there. The enchanted crystal arrow split the uprights, but that is now priority over the dragon pit. It will be spawning in just about 20 seconds here, which will be enough time for Ovo to spawn and start making their way down, but it's going to have to come down to this team fight. Mommy's guy goes in without the full team there. We saw the Misfortune ultimate used, but has to get canceled early. Demo is the first one to fall. The shutdown comes through for the Camille. Trundle now face tanking, taking up as much damage. An absolute sponge here, absorb the resistances and just keeps healing up. That's a double kill. This Delilah, this Trundle is going so far. That is the absolute distance. That is an ace. Ovo is the only one alive left to come into the mid lane. Is so far forward for the rest of the team just dying. The dragon will go down. Ovo needs to back up.
Yeah, Ovo, exactly. Now you're listening. You're going back. You're a little bit, okay, understandable. Respectable even. The problem with this fight, look at, like, it was a great engage. I love it. It was smart. Mommy's guy had the right idea. His team was mostly behind him. The problem is he misjudged Sauter's teleport. He saw Sauter top lane. He's like, oh, he's going to stay top lane. Sauter had the teleport come down long before that engage was in. He was able to walk straight up, straight in, keep his team alive. And that was the end of it. Delilah did Delilah things. That's all there is to say. Now the Baron looks like a...
Tempted to go in, managed to get one onto the cool crowd. The Baron buff does go over to the side of Omega, but King Civil gets chunked down very, very low. That said, Mommy's guy falls. That is 2 kills. Delilah is still very, very healthy. King Civil is trying to back and get out of there, but he's probably just going to fall to a single slap. No! Alan didn't have the vision to take the shot.
They did. I swear he could have seen him. Like, I swear Gaucho could see him. And the W, I guess it must have been on cooldown. They had no abilities to reach, and that's. But you know what? That's the story of King Civil. He's got one death
Yeah.
this game.
Just
One death, 13 assists. He picked up a Kraken Slayer. I was incorrect about him not deciding to go for a Mythic. That's fine. I'm wondering if we're going to see like a Haunting Guise come out for the Misfortune here or something. I don't know. But he's picking up AP for something. I have to say, I love the Serpent pickup though.
right. Talk me through it. What does it bring to a Misfortune?
The Serpent? Take a look at the team that you're playing against. The whole thing with the Serpent's Fang is being able to bite through enemy shields, right? When you're playing against a Karma and a Janna, that is a ton of shielding right off the bat, right? It was also bought before Ashe bought their Mythic. So you also could take a look at Ashe and say, oh, they're probably going to go Shield Bow.
Oh, Gucci's taking so much.
Wow! How did that arrow miss?
I don't know. But who needs the shield bow when you can just kill people?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, when you have all of these shields on your team, and quite frankly, when you're
Gucci just dies from the Vel'Koz just dunking things over the top. Ovo now chunked down to half health, doesn't have the ultimate, or just now pops the ultimate up and is getting on out of there. That's an inhibitor down, but that is Gaucho, that is Gucci gone. Mommy's guy trying to get away, gets briefly rooted. There is only a cannon minion here, so for the time being, Omega, they cannot push all the way in, but the next wave is on the way. They are 4 strong. It is 5, actually, they are 5 strong. It is 5v3. Ovo has lost the ultimate. The sustain is not there. And Ovo is getting chunked out very slowly, but Mommy's guy is the one that takes the majority of the damage. And without so much as a deciding fight, Omega Gaming Obsidian take the series 2-1.
This was the fear. This is what we said the entire time. If they get just a little bit ahead, you can't fight them. And you don't even get the chance to. No engage would have mattered there. There was no opportunity there whatsoever. I gotta say, the ending fight just before those last couple kills, Mommy's guy tried to have a flank over the wall on the blue side. Sauter was perfect. Sauter was perfect in that situation. Yeah, Sauter got bullied and had some problems in lane because of the matchup. It happens. Whatever. What ended up happening in that very ending, though, was that Karma snare. The W over the wall came through, and that was it.
Yep.
You don't get to jump the wall.
Yeah, and like just congrats, like just I cannot put enough props on Sauter in that game because again, this is a Camille. Camille can be very oppressive in lane, even ended up getting that CS advantage, but there were just so many times where those hook shots into those wall dives just missed because Sauter just knew the movement. Yeah, Sauter, and the one thing I noted was Sauter wouldn't move towards their turret; they would walk away from it because they knew the direction that the Camille was predicting, and there was just never any adjustment there. It felt like.
Yeah, exactly. And that is a lesson for anybody who ever plays against a Camille. If they hook shot the wall, don't walk this way because they have enough distance to follow you at that 90. Walk straight upwards. That is the farthest distance that you can put between the point of contact for their hook shot and where they will stun you. Played flawlessly, very clearly knows the matchup. Maybe not the matchup between Camille and Karma per se, but definitely knows how the Camille gameplay went. Did incredibly well. But again, my MVP through that whole thing has to go to the Janna.
It was so good. The shields, the heals.
The big turning fight, the fight that I mentioned that the Janna single-handedly turned, where Vel'Koz was getting caught out in the mid, 100% turnaround because of the Janna there. Not just the positioning, but the way that they played it. You could have just thrown the shield up, give the whole thing away. Cool, you still save your mid laner, whatever.
Right.
Smart gameplay to be able to turn it around into a kill as well.
Right. And it was just overall, that game 2 felt so much like game 1. Obviously, the drafts were a little bit different. The comps were a little bit different. The way Omega was approaching the game was slightly different. But at the end of the day, even though it didn't feel like they were the best team fighters, at the very end, Moonstone didn't even try to team fight. Right? Sure, they were down a couple members, but they didn't even try to make a stand. And
couldn't.
Omega just said, all right, we'll take your Nexus for absolutely free.
Yep. And all I can picture after that entire thing is Vel'Koz did incredible, obviously. Yep. What if that was an Anivia?
Yeah.
That's all I can think now. I still love that ban. Ban was great. It ultimately didn't matter.
Yeah.
The Vel'Koz did wonders. The synergy between the Vel'Koz and the Ashe was incredible. The Ashe ults and the overall carried the game as well.
Exactly. Yeah. So Congrats to Omega Gaming Obsidian. They move on to 2-0 in the CCS Wednesday division. Unfortunately, if you are Moonstone Gaming, you have taken your first loss. So, but that being said, we already have our interview set up. Well, not yet. We're gonna get set up here in just a moment. My apologies, I misspoke. Give us just a couple minutes, and we will be bringing in King Civil to take the winner's interview.
Hey, everybody, and welcome back. We have Civil here for a brief interview. Unfortunately, Thunder had to step away. He's feeling a little under the weather, which is ironic considering his name, but we won't get into that. Instead, we're going to look at Civil, and we want to talk about this Enchanted Crystal era. How did you guys manage such incredible synergy that game?
Um, Well, when we were drafting the first 2 games, it was pretty clear we played through our jungler,
Mm,
who's a really, hyper carry oriented player, but, since the enemy team was just kind of, like, drafting the way they were, we thought that using a lot of utility against them would be a good strategy since they like to play really unpredictably and just having a lot of CC on deck. We saw that game one that they were willing to invest triple cleanse, and I was trying to induce that again. And since they probably should have done it, obviously. So
yeah, definitely. It definitely played out well for them in the first game. Unfortunately, they did lose that as well. Fortunate for you, but trying to bait it out again. Respect it. I definitely um, enjoyed the fact that you picked both Karma and Ash in the same pick on the same side in the same manner, so that they couldn't ban it one way or the other for you.
mhm.
Um, do you think that maybe pushing Delilah off of the hyper carry onto the more mage style jungler, do you think that was a major factor in game two, or what went wrong there?
So when I think the problem for the game two draft kind of goes back to the Lucian pick, where
Hmm.
I had a very clear Ash angle, and I could have played utility early to enable a carry. When we ran into what we were drafting against after their R4, our only 2 options were Trundle and Lilia, but our jungle really likes to prefer to be able to play on a carry-oriented side.
Hmm.
Unfortunately, it did leave us with a very scrambled comp, and Delilah did get a lead and did play mechanically well throughout the game, but the draft itself after drafting Lucian wasn't ideal.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I think putting her on a mage was a factor, but I think the bigger factor was that I could have drafted more malleably early to not have to force hard engage.
Okay. Yeah, definitely it definitely looked that way, and I definitely agree. We didn't want to say that every game was kind of decided in draft, but you confirmed my suspicions that it really felt that way all three games to us. Um, I loved the fact that you guys had the poke and disengage comps in one and three, and I agree. I thought you looked a little scrambled when you started game two. So it's kind of interesting to see the players on the same page as the analysis side when we're so stepped away. We don't know what your guys' thought processes are, especially playing against a team like like Moonstone that play these weird drafts. Um,
Right.
how did you guys prep for that? I mean, you obviously have to do very specific preparation for them.
So that's actually a great question. Without giving too much away, we determined that when a team is so committed to smoke screening where their picks are going to go, that they're willing to build a comp that doesn't necessarily play well together, then our
Ah.
best course of action would be to just draft our own composition like games one and three. And even though we verbally confirm this in kind of draft preparation to each other, it didn't actually roll out that way in game two, where I kind of
Mhm.
started to derail that idea by taking Lucian and then forcing us into a style. Whereas, like, when you're playing to build your own comp, especially on blue side, oh, sorry, especially on red, which we had one and three, and you have the more reactive side of the picks, picking non committal can definitely be a better idea, regardless of what side you're on. So, um, yeah, we picked non-committal early and then formed whatever comp we thought was doing well. So after they went Swain Zach on B2 B3 of game three, something like Trundle Janna makes like Zach unplayable. Swain has like a much harder time into that
Yeah.
style of comp, so he can't chase us down. Yeah, I think it went well. We
Yeah,
just formed our
I,
own comp.
I think you guys drafted wonderfully in games one and three. And again, it's nice to hear that even you think the draft was kind of weird for yourselves in game two, because we were looking at it the same way.
Right.
So everybody on the same page is neat. Last question before this: the Karma pick, was that picked as a flex, or did you just kind of reactively be like, all right, who the heck can play this?
It was always a flex. We just determined that it went bot best in games one and two. What I would say overall is that game 3, we did go in with the intent of not going bot once not sending a bot once they sent the Senna. That's basically all I can really say. It had 2 other lanes that it could go to,
Yeah.
so we weren't sure where exactly, but yeah, for
Okay.
sure.
Yeah, it's just I'm a way back player. I've been playing since beta, so I've seen the Karma top several seasons, but I have not seen it in probably 3 years. So it's really
Right,
interesting to see it actually go up there and do so well in the Camille matchup.
right. I mean,
So
is it such an insane pick, like, that you wanna B1 it every time? Probably not,
no.
but there isn't a lot of great B1s here, especially with the lineup of champions that were banned out. Our jungle pool was significantly pinched every single
Mhm.
game. So that really disables some of your R1, R2 options in draft.
Yeah, definitely. I think it was a great pick, and I think you guys played it incredibly well.
Thank you.
So yeah, thank you for joining me. Thank you for answering all of these questions. I love talking about draft and the analysis side of it. It's wonderful to hear about all of that. For those of you that are at home, if you have any more interest in draft, make sure you check out our sponsor, Pro Comps. You've heard about them several times today. There's a link in chat that's been posted by Stream Elements in the last couple seconds. That'll definitely help you out if you want to be able to manage what we saw Omega Gaming pull out here and win in draft pick themselves. As for the rest of the evening, we will likely be going to raid someone else. That is not up to me, that is up to production. But make sure that you hit the follow button. Also, oh, that's right. We are hitting Return of the Middle Sticks, probably. Sorry, you want to say one other
Sorry,
thing?
yeah,
Civil?
I just wanted to say one last thing. I appreciate you
Yeah.
guys for having me on, and I just want to shout out Omega Gaming. They've been around forever. They were gracious enough to sponsor our team one more time. I know that they aren't going to be doing this much longer, so we're hoping to take the chip for us, the split. If you're watching us play, make sure to drop an OMG win in the chat. Thanks, guys.
Oh, OMG win, because we see so many of their dang teams, right? This is the OMG league at this point in time. That's wonderful. I love to hear people thanking their orgs, and I love to see orgs come out. I don't want to say come out of the woodwork, but pick up more teams, more players than just one team, and say, okay, we're good. So yeah,
Right.
big ups to them, and love their participation here. We are going to be hopping over to, I believe it was Middle Sticks Gaming, a Return of the Middle Sticks, rather, is where we're going to be headed. Make sure you stick around, hit the follow button here, hit the follow button there once we get there. Make sure you check out Twitter as well, CSS Esports. You can find me on there at Oshadash, not dad like it says above me. Production likes to troll because I'm an old man. Make sure you hit up Thunder as well. He was my co-caster this week, last week, and probably next week. So it was absolutely wonderful to have you all here. Enjoy the rest of your week. Make sure you tune in tomorrow as well.